Hi. I fucking love this song. Oh, I didn't turn it up too much already. I'm just gonna turn it down for myself. Holy shit, I had that blasting. Hi. I love living winter today. Doc. It is Doc. I did take my vitamins and I took them all. So thank you, Turnip. But hi, Doc. Hi, Turnip. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Kai. Nikki, definitely first. Definitely, for sure. Oh, so what foods did you get? It don't matter if you're late. I'm trying to flick this open. Oh my god. I have everything still on my desk because I was doing stuff. I was doing tarot cards right before, and then I was doing the affirmation cards. And by that, I was shuffling them again because they're really fun to shuffle. Nikki, I'm addicted to shuffling the cards. They're great, like... Oh! My bed's dying! Roast chicken! So I'm extremely close to you guys. Epic, I don't want any of that right now. Epic died love. Hi. Epic keeps on asking me to update things. I'm like, stop it. Stop it. But how is everybody today? I didn't take my medicine last night. I think I gotta get a pill bottle. A pills here. Oh my god, everything's not working. Where? Oh my god, I'm knocking everything down. Just shuffling cards? We're not the same. We are, in fact, not the same. In fact, very different. In fact, not, nowhere near the same type at all. I love Leon S. Kennedy, bro. Oh my god, I have more movie news and things for you guys today. I still love this cat. She sits on my desk. Hi, Steve. How you doing? Morning, cutie. Morning, Turnip. I hope you're doing well. Anybody want an affirmation card? What's touching me? There's hair stuck to me. Oh my god. There is so much cat fur on my mic. Oh my god. Who's the music? This is Bad Omens. My wife... Me? Oh, you guys want one? Okay, I'll just shuffle them. My wife, Jocelyn, Seaweed Joss, she was talking about them a while ago, and I was like, oh, yeah. I actually, I do know them because I had like 2 songs saved by them, but she was talking about their new stuff. And then Nikki wife was talking about them on Monday when we were streaming, so I started actually listening to them more. They're really good. I'm now like, oh, maybe I get tickets and go see them because I really like Dying to Love. It has me in a chokehold. This song is so good. Dude, these cards are so nice to shuffle. I don't know how well these are going to shuffle now. They don't like shuffling properly like this. On tour, I think? Yeah, they are. Her 4 to 5 song. Yeah, I had... Like a villain. Yeah. What was it? I had like 2 random songs saved by them. They're really good, but like never really like followed up with their music just cuz. But yeah, she's... Let's see. I don't know when the one here is. Cuz my one wife is seeing them in March. Then dying to love. Oh yeah, hers is in March. Second LA area is usually either... Yeah, we're at the end of the tour. Oh, ours is also in March, the end of March. I might see. I'm gonna check the tickets right now. Okay. Kai was the first one. Let's see what random one. Let's just pull from the top. What is it? Oh, Kai, yours says I'm always at the right place at the right time. And you are, because you're here to play frickin' zombies today. Zombers. They're in Minnesota in March. I think that a lot of their tour seems to be in March, which is crazy in the sense of travel time. Because they have stuff... They have 1, 2, 3, 4... 4 in February, the last leg of February. Freaking zombies, you and the white boys at the white time. Because look, we met. And look at everybody else. I'll do yours in a second, Doc. But then, March is like the rest of the tour. That's crazy. That's kind of nice though. It's a month of tour and then they're done for that part of the tour. Because they have 2 concerts in Europe. I don't know when those are. I didn't look at that. Freaking zombies. That's crazy, actually. All in March? No, I want this one. Excuse me. That really wants to be the affirmation of today. I had messaged Nikki about a tarot pull that I done yesterday. If this gives me any yeah, Doc, this one's for you. Sorry, I was 3 had jumped out, but this was at the top. My energy is expensive and exclusive. You can't read that at all. Now you can. It was just ideal. You a white card. Your exclusive energy. Only give your energy to those who care and who deserve it. Oh, I forgot the bottom. I don't know the name of the song though. Ooh. Oh, sorry. That second O was I didn't finish setting up my iPad. Meow 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. They have 3 songs on that one. It's a Bad Omens one. Let me try to find it. Bad. Meow, meow. I went to just their whole page. I'm like, maybe I should just type in, wee, 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 hi, Fox. Get, in the... Oh, okay. So, I'm scared of Pit, mainly because I'm 5'2", 5'3". I'm a small, fragile, especially fragile because my bones are very bad gal. So I'm scared of like rock pits. Respectfully, because I'm like, some of them go hard and I'm like, let me not be in your way. Glorp. I fucking love Glorp. Crowd surf. I would never. I've done Pit. I do Pit all the time for punk rock shows. Did get mad at a lot of guys, but because it was one of those things of like, you're on the side where a lot of girls are, and that's fine. Go rock out. But oh my God, I don't know if it was his brother or his friend. His friend was about to punch him because he kept on hitting his like girlfriend. And it was like, whoa, dude, you're this side of the concert seems to be very chill. Go to the other side where they were actually partying. And he did, because that guy his friend got so mad at him. It was so funny watching it. Grabbing, I'd assume? A little bit. Oh, like, it goes both ends because girls are also the same. But guys just don't, at certain concerts, especially punk rock, they stop caring and they assume everybody's going to be acting like very like hype, like Pit energy, which is fine. But sometimes it's not. And sometimes the people around you, like me, Nikki, and Nash, are hurting because our joints hurt. And it's like, whoa there. We want to party, but we can't party that hard. So please go selectively to the middle of the pit. We're on the outer ring. Heard metal pits are very, really nice. I trust metal pits a lot. Metal, I guess I would consider rock too. Metal, I know. Y'all are unks now? Tell that to my joints. I love concerts, but my joints don't like them. I say that, but I have 3 concerts coming up now. And I kind of want to see if I can grab... I need to get this Bad Omen song. I kind of want to grab Bad Omen tickets. I have plenty of time, and they're not too bad. Oh, price. Let's see. Is it this one? Like a Villain is good. I'm just going to queue up these ones. These are the ones that I know. Oh. Meow, meow. Where was I looking? We'll see if it's one of these songs. If not, Steve, we're just going to go through all of the Bad Omens. We'll go through all the songs. What's wrong with your joints? Oh, I just have creaky old joints. I don't know. I think I do have a joint disorder of some sort, but will I let that stop me? No. Should I get it checked out? Absolutely. If you ever catch me, sometimes I complain about my hands hurting on stream. And there was one time recently, oh my God, when I was playing Dying Light, I had severe pain in my hand. Why? Don't know. Even asked my mom and she was like, It might be leftover residual like pain I will forever have in my hand because I broke this hand. So might that. It's called just pretend. I'll just pretend it doesn't exist. You're so right. Old? Leave me alone. I'm not even that old. I can't even make fun of you, Kai. I can just call you young. You're young. You're a little baby. I had the pain in my shin since Monday, and I'm afraid it's either shin splints or some weird cancer. You know, fair. I know, I do have. So you're like 20? I'm 28. I'm in my 20s, but the end of the 20s. Though everybody thinks I am a baby. So I'll take it. Especially if I want to act. You know, I'll take it. Everybody thinks I'm like in my early 20s. I'm like, okay. Totally forgot. Fox, I've known you. They were still 24. That'd be crazy. I very much, my friend at work only clocked how old I was because I brought up MTV music videos. And he was like, wait a minute. You're also old. I'm like, yeah, everybody thinks. Thought you were 24? Yeah, everybody thinks I am early 20s. I don't think I've gotten anything that's like 25. I think it's 20 to 24. When I worked at Barnes & Noble, they thought it was 19. Shakes fist in cold air. You damn kids. Therefore, old. Real as hell, Kai. You know, I can't flaw. There's no flaw in that mentality. You're right. Who's the same age? Do you also sometimes forget you're 28 and still feel... Yes, unfortunately, my mental... I almost said my mental health. My mental age is definitely still 22 to 25. I get that I'm 24 a lot. Yeah, you still look young. That's why. You don't look old, Fox. We both are 6? Maybe 7? You're 6 or 6? Maybe 7. I hate this stupid fucking meme, but Jordy got it stuck in my head now. Forever baby face. Hey, we take that because at least we get carded and it's not the like, yeah, you look old. It's like, you're a baby. You're just a little baby, Fox. Don't worry. How old I look? You look young. You look appropriately for your age. Possibly like a few years younger. You don't look like high school, but you still look like fresh baby out of high school. My beard, I rarely get carded anymore. Interesting. I would say I get carded, but you know, I don't really go out and drink. And grocery stores, when you buy alcohol, no matter what, they have to scan the card, so you always get carded at the grocery stores. I still have these affirmation cards are so fun to me. Oh, I was looking at concert tickets. If I get... How much is floor? Hey, you guys. I could get floor tickets for Bad Omens for 180. It'd probably come out to 190 because Ticketmaster is freaking... like a villain. Fees and everything. But also, that's a really large floor. I'm going to be all the way in the back and not be able to see. 300. That's not too bad. I kind of want to see Bad Omens. I mean, going out? Yeah, no, it's cheaper to drink out. It is so cheaper to drink at home. Also because I like certain drinks and my tummy's so upsetty all the time that I'd rather drink at home. Scan your DF alcohol every time? I'm pretty sure. You know, Fox, I don't quote me on that. I don't buy alcohol a lot. I buy alcohol from the Asian market, I'll be honest. See, Bad Omens too? Yeah! My friend, two of my wives. My friend Jocelyn is seeing them, and then Nikki is gonna go see them, and they both just got me hooked on their music that I'm like, okay. I liked them before, but didn't like listen. But now I'm like, it's not till March. But I have tickets to go see Last Dinosaurs. I have tickets to go see Ghost. I have floor tickets for Ghost. I'm very excited about that. Because Nikki went to go see them, and she went with fucking her boyfriend and their friends and not with me. So I didn't go to see them. I didn't get to see Ghost that time. But then we have 5 Seconds of Summer tickets. Very excited about that. Used to see them a lot. I have so many memories from seeing them. Hi. What you mean? Drinking home alone sometimes in the dark? I can't. I'm scared of the dark. What's going on here? We're yapping right now. About, honestly, concerts. About concerts. Bad Omens, because they're going on tour. Tickets to see Ghost. Your house is haunted? You're so real. Hell yeah. Let's just go to a haunted house. It's free. The you for 5 seconds? Yes, I can. Yes, you can. I haven't ever told you, Kat, that I've met them. I have their signatures. Where do you live in Africa? Oh, I am not from Africa. We are playing Resident Evil 5 today, which takes place in Africa. Hold on, let me kill somebody really quick. Hold on. Okay, killed them. Don't worry. I was like, hold on. I know, I really need to set that up. I've been trying to do other things, and I've just not set that up. I keep on saying, looked away, my bad. Oh, don't worry, turn up. I had the casual, oh, 1 second, let me kill somebody in chat. Don't know what shoes to wear? Oh, my friend goes to see ghosts every time she says shoes. The shoes. The shoes. The shows. I know. I might get Trans-Siberian Orchestra tickets too, because Nikki wanted to see them. Okay, it's like the two ends of like music, because bad mod, no. That mod's literally at work and plays games with me while he's at work. Works his job? Nah, play Stardew at the same time. But Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Ghost remind me of the same vibe, where I'm like, they're gonna put on a show. This is gonna be good. I should actually see Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Trans-Siberian Orchestra tour. I hope. Because they always come out here. Oh, hell yeah. November. It's always in December when they end up out here. If you guys ever get to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra, fucking magnificent. I love that shit. Ooh. Oh, do they have a lot in... Oh, are they not coming out towards me? Only to halfway to me? That's a bummer. Unless they come back. They go everywhere. They go too much. Never been to a concert at this point? I don't think there's a band I'd enjoy. Interesting. You've never been to a concert. I love concerts. Like I said with 5 Seconds of Summer, with Five Sauce, I saw them maybe 5 times in one summer, because I think we had bought tickets for something, got tickets for a free concert from a signing that we went to, and then we signed up for Vivo for the music video, and we got to see them for filming, and got to see that live concert for a couple of songs and a couple other things. We really liked them. Still do. I still do love them. But that was a crazy summer. That was like straight out of high school. I think that was like our first year in college, because I know my friend was already living in LA at the time. Concerts are a good time, especially certain bands. Like I said, with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, that's a Christmas show, but like it's the same thing with Ghost, especially Ghost. Does not let you record, so you're there to see the show, and I love that. But either I want to go so bad once my health is... Yes, once I take a hammer to your spine, Kai, and fix it. You bet your ass. I'm going to get you to a concert. I'm trying to see. Do they come back over here? Or are they only in... Ooh, they end in DC. How about visiting the site? Yeah. Oh my god. It forwarded me down. That scared me. Okay, so they're only in Disneyland area. That's not bad. I don't like that center, though. They used to come to the one that was really close to me. So that's sad. I think it kind of does matter, because if I only like 1 or 2 of the songs, that's fair. I think Ghost would be a good time if you ever get to see a Ghost. Oh, this is with Poppy. This is one of the songs that I have added, and that's why. If you go with friends and you listen to the band, it's a good time. So true, so true. That's what, I mean, I love Last Dinos, but Last Dinosaurs I got into because of Nikki, and I think the first concert I went to was when I was halfway into them, in the sense of I listened to some of their stuff, but didn't really listen to a lot. Oh my god, that's a great concert. Last Dinosaurs. We gotta get you concert people, Doc. Last Dinos is a fun time. That's for, we always say it, but Last Dinos would be a great show to go to high, because their music is so chill. I love their music so much. It's very different than Bad Omens. So it'd be Whiplash putting it on, but I'm gonna put it on. To travel and meet friends, she concentrate. So true. Me this weekend, so tempted to go to Minneapolis. 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 Can I say it right? Anyways, so tempted to travel over there just for one weekend so I can go meet Brendan Fraser. Because so I go meet the cast of the whole Mummy. I want to meet the Mummy cast. Ooh, Lincoln Park. Okay, hold on. I want to read that. I like that. Last dinosaurs. Give me that. Italo disco. Adding that. Okay. Sucks, but I'll hear a song and be like, ooh, this is good. I wonder if this is New Lincoln Park, and it always turns out to be Poppy. Ooh, interesting. I don't mind New Lincoln Park. A few songs. Their League of Legends song, Heavy as the Crown, really good. She doesn't have the same energy. She has a different energy. Like, hits the same thing, but like, it's not even like bad. It's just much more like repressed anger, and not even a bad way, but it's a different energy she gets than what Chester had. And it's so interesting. It's so interesting because you can hear it. You can hear like the pain in the voice. Not like actually like in pain, but like mentally, emotionally in pain, compared to like in pain in a different way where it's like depression type. That's so bad, dog. But like, yeah, it's a different type. That was a bad joke. No, I know exactly what you mean. But it is like the case of like, it's two different types of pains. One's where like depressed pain, and then also one's the like anger pain. I think their writing is bad. They strike me as Linkin Park cover, but that's interesting. Honestly, I haven't really listened to too much of their new stuff. It's every so often. There's like one or two songs that I'm like, okay, I like that. So that's fair. Just the new songs. I mean, that's how I felt with 5 Seconds of Summer when they disappeared for a while and came back, because then they changed their sound of their music. It's not bad, but like, it's just that change sometimes. Sometimes it's tomorrow's gonna be long. Hey, you need anything, you let me know, Kai. Just message me. Even if it's just the hi, I will immediately respond with cat memes, okay? Hey, we'll cure you with jokes. You got us. Us taking things serious? Absolutely not. I'm still just messing with these cards. They are literally like my fidget toy. This way. I love Italo Disco. Not my favorite. I think Apollo. Very fitting. He's very, very much my favorite. Let me find Apollo. Is it Garden? Ooh, is that new Last Dino songs? Just gonna add that. Just gonna add that really quick. Ryu, Kyo. What's on Kyo? Oh, Ryu was my favorite because that has Elton. I can sing you my favorite song in Espanol. En Espanol. I love it so much. Leave at 1. The scan is at 2:10. Consultation at 2:30. Then we gotta go shopping. The real chance I want to be home. You won't be. That's crazy. But it is a long day. It's okay. Enjoy what you can, in a sense of like, you're getting out of the house, you're getting the appointment, and then everything else we'll help with. Sorry, I want Flying. Flying is one of my favorite songs. Dude, I really want Bad Omens tickets. Maybe I message Nikki and be like, hey, where you all sitting? Because like, they have a floor, but like the floor ain't that good because it's like a huge floor in a stadium. But also, floor kind of seems fun. I probably shouldn't do floor. Bring my Switch with me so I can do things. Yes, that's honestly smart, especially for a long day. So yeah, might be 2 bands. I'd probably be able to listen to their full concert. Have a great day. What 2 bands? Tell me this information. They pero te topales. Soy yo que no vete. See, 167 ain't that bad. I still need to pay off 2 tickets. Let me buy some new ones. This is the Kia Form. Do I like the Kia Form? Let's look at what the Kia Form looks like inside. Oh, it's this one. Very confusing inside. Very confusing inside. Ninja, oh my god, Ninja Sex Party. I want to see Miku. I want to see Miku so badly. Shaman. No idea their concert. If they're just internet. You know, fair. That's fair though. To do Flora, I can't see the show. Never do. Yeah. The energy would be fun. That's why, like, last Dinos, we do Flora because it's a GA concert. It's all GA. But it's usually in, like, small places. The Kia Forum is fucking huge. Like, that's basketball court length. Concert at one end, the entire thing is a Flora. I would not be able to see. I think I would actually have, not necessarily a panic attack, but I would. But because they have no extending, stage, it's just all the main stage. So I'm like, I don't think I would do floor for that, truth be told. It's not too expensive though. Harry Styles was there. Yeah, we'll see. I'll look at those later. Nerdas would bring earplugs? Because once you lose hearing, it doesn't heal? Yeah. Don't be like me. Absolutely bring earplugs. I could oversee me. Real as hell. Honest. Ooh, earplugs, but also with the headphones. Because then I feel like it's nice to have that pressure. Any rock show I go to, that's real. I should probably get some. But also, I probably should. I probably should. Nikki has messaged me. Loop earplugs? They realize, ooh, I need to buy new earplugs. I really want those clear plastic ones, but I can get the deal at Jordy's store, or I can spend the $200. But they're clear plastic. They're so cool. They're pretty too. Hell yeah. I don't know what's gonna play after this. Oh, it's gonna go back to Ghost. What's after Ghost? Oh, the new Notori song. I want the new Penny and Stocking puppet. Reach Up. I like Reach Up. Hee 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 hee. Metal. Oh, I have coffee. I forgot I filled up my coffee cup. A sporting goods trend. Pink earplugs. Fuck yeah. Hey, but your ears were protected. I left. My young ass thought it was fine. It's not. It's not too loud. It was always. Oh my god, I forgot I have news for you guys. Okay, putting down my phone. That's real as hell. That's really how it'd be like, it's fine. I'll be fine. I say that while I blast music in my car. And then I wonder why I can't hear things. This is why I don't like the compressors in my shop too, but because those are genuinely too loud and they hurt my ears. Itch my freaking leg. Did I have a cut on my leg? Possibly. I have so many bug bites still. I hate that shit. Okay. What's the news? First off, agenda. We're playing Resident Evil 5 today. Please, for the love of God, I'm gonna try to lock the fuck in. I need to get Kai to 7 minutes. That's all I can spare. I don't even know if it's possible to get to that part today. I forget how many parts are in this game. If we have company today to help us, so be it. We have company. If not, so be it. We don't have company. The news, however, is one. I should have worded this better to Bud yesterday, that like when I saw the news on TikTok, it wasn't that I was getting the information from TikTok. I don't read. So it's usually how I get my form of media is on TikTok because I like stuff. But with the Mummy movie, it's a lot of articles talking about it. I just saw it on TikTok because I don't read. Anyways, it's in talks. That's what's happening. It's in talks. Now, the information that I don't know if I believe it or not is that it's a Hispanic Aztec one. So that one's interesting. The big news is that the Resident Evil movie has begun production, and I'm one, sad. I'm like, damn, I'm not gonna get cast in that. That's already being made. But two, very exciting. It takes place during winter. The Resident Evil movie, yeah. I'm very excited because it's a director that I actually really enjoy. So I'm like, okay. I'm I'm very intrigued. I hope it does well so that we get more. See, yes. Do you watch horror movies, Kai? You're not, because I have some friends who don't like certain things, and I don't remember. You're just dogs. You just don't like dogs. Is there dogs in this? I watch a lot of horror. Okay, good, good, good. The people who made Weapons, the director of Weapons, is the director for the Resident Evil movie. He's the one who picked up the project. So, one, recommend Weapons very much. If I can get it to stream, because I think it's on, let me see. Requires an add-on. I think it'll be free on like HBO or something soonish. But oh, they did Barbarian. That one's online somewhere. Underwater dogs, they'll be fine most likely. Fair, fair, fair. Barbarian's another good example. So Barbarian is also, it's very horror, but also he puts comedy in it where it's so fucking funny and throws it off, but like I don't know. I like his sense of humor. I love his sense of humor. It's really good. So I trust him a lot. So I'm very intrigued. Like to see you in the next Flash movie, either the first victim or the final girl. I would love to be a final girl. How's your scream of fear? Okay, truth be slasher? Slasher, not flasher. I was confused by that because I was also thinking the Flash, but that's fair. Slasher film. I would love to be in a slasher film. I would love to be in a horror film. A lot of horror films. I love horror. But also on the fact of screaming, Steve, I'm a very nonverbal person. And I realized, like, even on roller coasters, I just giggle. So I'm like, I've never actually, like, properly, like, screamed of fear because my scream of fears on games is me gasping for my life. Flasher, I hardly know her. Of course, his humor is great. He was the widest kids you know. You're so right. I forgot about that. I remember that because my wife brought it up because we were talking about that because he didn't do that. The actor was from that. Yeah, I forgot about that. But also, he just made the floating AK in the sky in Weapons, and that was really funny. Sarah being a fly. I'll be like the merchant. So I'm playing chicken with my triggers. Don't judge it. Don't play chicken with your triggers unless it's worth it. Well, unless it's worth it. Like Still Wakes the Deep was definitely worth the underwater trigger. Simon's Rest was not. Like that was an amazing like short little like recap of Still Wakes the Deep, but like Still Wakes the Deep was more worth it than that one for your little fears. Yeah. You're such a great skit. I need to watch more of that. I forget what we had watched when we had brought it up. You are an actor? True. I probably could scream well. Never, like, really tried. It's one of those things I'm like, I've never really screamed for my life as I'm about to die. Never done that before. It's worth it. I want to see Resident Evil. So true. I think the only thing that'll be like your little jingle triggers would be dogs. Because I don't know where this takes place because it looks like it's in the city, so it looks like it could be RPD, but it takes place during winter, which not really mad about that. That's just that. Day, another day, another so exactly right car. I hope you're well. I hope Yim was well yesterday. The Yim. I do recommend. I still gotta make you guys watch the Resident Evil previous films with Alice. Because are they great? Absolutely not. Are they my favorite shit ever? Yes. Later movies, I don't know. One of the later movies I have big problems with, but that's on production side, not the actual movie itself. Kicks and stairs window starts chasing. No, you guys hear what I sound like when I'm being chased in the game? I just make monkey noises because I get scared. My thought process of my ooh and ah, literally when I scream, of my ooh ah, is literally like I'm going ooh because I'm like, oh my god. But then I start screaming, so I go ah. We do a movie night? We can. You have a long day tomorrow, so no. So no. I work Saturday, so we can't do Saturday. I could probably throw on a movie on Sunday. I need to double check that I'm not doing anything. But I could throw on a movie and just sit in Discord, like just mute myself, let you guys watch it, and I can get work done. We could tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna stream tomorrow because I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna like get shit done. I need to finish editing today so I can post tomorrow. Or post Saturday. I don't know what days to post. I haven't quite figured that out. Tuesday is like the solid day to post. I need to export that file. I've seen 2. They're so bad. Wait, the Resident Evil movies? Like the ones that is that what we were talking about? I fucking love Alice. Are they great? Nah. The first one I feel like was a good solid. Like that was a good solid where it was like, okay. I love the second one. I love Apocalypse so much. They're rebooting a horror slasher franchise. What movie do you pick to reboot? Oh, okay. Let me look at my options. Let me look. I was literally looking at a casting call too before starting all this. But we could try to do tomorrow. But you have a long day tomorrow, Kai. That's why I kind of don't say tomorrow. Let's see slasher films. Okay. Riddle me this. I'll say mine, but what do you think, Steve? What do you think I would be good in? Gotta watch The Mummy together at some point. Yes, I need to figure out, I have a disc player because The Mummy is one of the instances where it's never online. And when it is online, I watch the fuck out of it. Oh, it came out in 1999. Yeah, I definitely didn't. Somebody was talking to Brendan during an interview for something else. And he was like, I still have my movie tickets from the first and second one. There ain't no way that I saw this first movie in theaters. It came out in 1999. I was born in 97. But it's currently not. It's on random websites that I don't know. Running free. I could rent it. Honestly, I wouldn't mind buying it on... What is MGM? Get home. Now the world I know. What is it? I see the bong of past romance. I've never heard of MGM. I could rent it on Amazon. Oscar nominee. Yeah. No stand. Is the other one? They're okay, so they're on. I own them though. If I could figure out how to use my disc, born 97? Yes. Old. Oh, I said how old I was earlier. But if I can grab you guys by the neck. Zooey. Not that Zooey. I'm an ads. Don't answer yet. Poor Steve. That efforts were nothing. I see a palace covered in red. Ooh, that got rebooted. Ooh. I've long believed you're dead. They're making like 75. So accurate. So accurate. Born before 2000 makes you old. It's okay, turn up. Turn up, don't. It's okay. It's okay, turn up. That means you're dust. Legendary. No! Ooh. Sacrifice of man. I see betrayals of. Friday is a classic. Can't go wrong with going up against Jason. Yeah. He's on the brink of death. Chopping mall. Chopping mall. Ooh. They're alive, but it's no longer. I'm like trying to think of like things that. Because The Strangers just got rebooted. I need to see that. Mannequin in a Santa outfit? That would be crazy. I almost would say Nightmare on Elm Street would be really interesting. I like looking through popular slasher films. Best slasher films. Let's go here. Me knowing how these ends up, I'm like, damn, I'm just gonna die on that one. Midnight Meat Train. Tried to reboot it, didn't do well. Silent. I know that one. Silent. I don't want short videos. I just need to see the images of it. Oh my god. Bro, I love these shitty fucking There's a turkey one too that kills everybody. Dude, I still need to watch Fear Street, actually. Scream reboot, but it's still mad. I would love that. Oh, my cat's waking up. Good morning. I'll let her out in a second. I haven't watched Bodies. That's a new one, though. Candyman. I would love I would love to be in a Scream reboot. It was a Midnight Meat Train. That's so fucking funny. Step away from the meat. Good. I love 1 and 2 and 3. It's a little confusing. I wish it got its original release of like how it was supposed to release in theaters. Unfortunately, COVID happened. But I have not sat down and watched it. Thanksgiving is hilariously terrible. I need to watch it. And or watch a explain video about... Oh my god, I forgot about Thanksgiving. That one that actually like came out in theaters. That was 2023. Heart Eyes. If you guys haven't seen Heart Eyes, that was a really good one. Because I thought it was going to be scary, but no, they knew it was a comedy. It's a comedy slasher. So it was really good. Some of the line deliveries in that was so fucking funny. Oh my god, what about... Hold on, I keep on hitting short videos. The Hills Have Eyes is a movie I've never properly seen, but like the ending of it still haunts me. You may ask, you've never seen it. What do you mean the ending? I've seen little clips of it, and that shit still haunts me because I was so young. Where's Sam Howell? Pretty good soundtrack. Oh, interesting. Reboot of The Rubber. Oh, not The Rubber. But I do need to watch Fear Street, Kai. I'll watch it eventually because I really want to. It's been on my list, but I want to binge through them. So that's my problem. Ooh, that would be fun. I would love that. I do love Sweeney Todd. I really love Sweeney Todd a lot. I love Sweeney Todd a lot. I love Sweeney Todd a lot. I would kill it. I would kill his dad. I like that. Interesting idea. First one of my faves. Which one's the first one? Let me go look. I forget which one has my favorite actress in it. Part 1. Oh, it is the first one. Okay, I'll agree with the first one then because it has Emily Rudd in it. She's Nami, and I love her. I feel like this was such a cool concept. How they like did it, how it's all connected. I heard bad things about Prom, but because it's like you make these 3 that are so connected, and then years after you just make another one. It's like no, it's not gonna do as well. Probably was still cool, but it's not. It doesn't live up to the other 3. What I love, the reboot is great. The beginning is a bit fucked up, though. Spit on your grave. Interesting. Did anybody watch I spelt your wrong, I'll have you know. Butt cheeks. Interesting. Hi, Coco. How are you? What was I thinking of? Oh, this is just normal horror. It's not slasher. Drag Me to Hell. I hope somebody here has seen that because we watched it at a sleepover when I was in middle school one time. I have never been so like disturbed but laughing while watching that like goat dance on the ceiling. I think it was the goat dance. It was so weird. Evil Dead. I would fuck that shit up. I would love that so much. We are talking about horror movies. Steve brought up the proposition of if you were to be in a slasher film, reboot slasher film for me. And now we're just talking about the slasher films. I would love to be a final girl though. I also like 2010 version. Where? That's the one I looked up. That's the one I saw. I didn't see, but I saw on my screen. Pacific Rim. You know, the people die a lot. That's fair. God, I still can't get over my Spotify. Is that Godzilla? Sarah, I would love to be so I would love to be a final girl, but I would love to be like murdered. Like that some of them have such cool deaths. If you guys haven't seen the Until Dawn movie, really fun. I do actually recommend watching it. Is it like the game? No, absolutely not. So just forget about the game knowledge. There was one friend in it who just, I swear to God, she gets the short end of the stick every time because they die and then like repeat it. That's the whole concept. Really cool. I do like it. She gets the short end of the stick of all the deaths. Bro, oh my God. Be killed in a movie? I agree. Me too. Should reword how I word things. But like it would be like some of the people, like depending on the movies, they have some gruesome deaths or really funny ones. Like Final Destination being smushed by the plane of glass. I need to watch the new Final Destination. I wouldn't want to be in one of those movies because they disturb me a lot. But I love Saw. Put me in Saw the musical. Oh my God, Paranormal Activity had a new movie. I need to watch that. But they also have a play that's out right now, or it's coming out soon. Like Cabin in the Woods. That's why I like Evil Dead. I know I like that shit. That shit's so cool. Cabin in the Woods. I would love another Cabin in the Woods. But also, like, that's just it's so good. I don't want them to like try to touch it again. Just like I think it's It's Record, but I think is this the original one? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Is Quarantine the American version? Yeah, Quarantine is the American version, but Rec was yes, it's a Spanish film. Zombie Spanish film, amazing. But I hate that Americans took it and be like, we're gonna make an American version. And it's the same exact movie, it's just in English. And I'm like, and it wasn't as good. That one always makes me sad. They did it for a couple of movies. I know they wanted to do that to Train to Busan. And I'm like, don't you dare touch that. Don't you dare touch that. I love the song. Next of Kin is actually yeah, that one. I have not watched Next of Kin. Now, I will say, Steve, I love Paranormal Activity. I'm very superstitious, and I'm also very paranoid all the time, which is why I can't play Welcome to the Game 2. We're gonna forget that. But I love the Paranormal Activity movies so much. Some of them actually kind of creep me out, scare me. I'm like, okay, I'm like a little bit like uncomfortable with this energy we have created in the womb. Some of them are just very silly, stupid. But I really want to watch that one. I saw it and I was going to watch it at work. I was like, no. I need this on a bigger screen. Maybe I'll watch that today. Movie that American did too, the American version. It's not so good. Let's see. High
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Maybe I should type his first name. There he is. Americans do that a lot. Because we do that with our TV shows too. Because they did that technically with Ghost.
Hydrate,
I like both versions of Ghost. I will hydrate. Oh, so hi, quiet. The Upside? Oh! I did not know that. Honestly. Oh, Untouchable. Interesting. We do it with TV shows. Everybody, I'm here to announce that Gar opened Deadlock. But I've never seen Upside before. I've seen clips of it on my TikTok or YouTube. I love Marked Ones, Next of Kin. I felt were good. I need to watch Next of Kin. Let me see which one Mark's one. I think I liked Mark's one. Paranormal Activity movies. Yeah, sure. What's this one? Okay, yeah. Marked Ones was really fun. That was a very interesting, especially like the tie-in at the end was just very cool. It was like, oh, okay. Paranormal
Late,
4.
but alive and here to thrive.
Hello. Welcome in, Haunted. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. How are you today? Quiet, how are you? I need to see. VR incident. Ever since the VR incident, I haven't wanted to play any video games. Wait, what was the VR incident? What happened to you, Gar? This is terrible. What happened? Da. 4 is the one where they use. Yes. Oh my god. That's why I love 4. Not because like good or bad, but like that was just such an icon of the movie. I love that at the time. Marked ones was really fun. Ghost Dimension was just a little silly, but like I like them all. Some of them are just very silly, especially when you break it down to like, I think it was in 4 when the pots and pans just all fly or certain things happen. I'm like, that ghost is just having a temper tantrum. He's just very upset. He's just like, give me the fucking kid. I need this person dead. Always an incident. Always an incident. Doing quite well? Hell yeah, good. I'm very proud of you. Very happy of you. I'm very happy, very excited. I'm getting stuff done. Did I need to try to formulate an email last night and did I not do it? Yes. But I did all my research for it. And that's what matters. She's sitting menacingly. Am I okay? Am I okay? She is sitting right here. Her tail's on me. Miss Mochi, they would like to talk to you. They say hello. Specifically, Coco says, hello, kitty. She's not even looking at me. Bro, she's not even looking at me. Movie I've never been able to finish. What movie? Please do tell me. When I bought it and returned it? What happened? What happened with that? Wait, Gar, I want to know more. Just feeling eepy, not sleepy, just tired? No fair. I hope work's been going well. I hope this has been a good week. New job, very exciting. Oh my god, dude, Lovely Bones fucked me up. Especially like I love let me look up the actor. I always forget his name. Stanley. I love him so much, but he always plays the very like sweet, caring characters or very funny. Seeing him in that fucked me up because that was horrifying. So that's completely understandable. I actually have that book. I think I'm giving away because I don't need the book. But that, yeah. I made dad while watching it and now I can't watch it. That's fair. That's a rough movie to begin with. So fair. Oh, there she goes. It's only getting used to not having to go to bed at 1 a.m. and having to sleep early. You gotta eat early. You gotta make sure quiet. You gotta get used to it. Hi, ky3len. How? Well, I couldn't make sense of keeping the VR because no room to play and hassle and have to buy new games for it, so I returned it. Now I just look at my game library and feel nothing. Why do you feel nothing? We'll play something sometime, Gar, okay? Hey, there's new repo monsters. There's no repo monsters. We'll get have you seen the pictures and updates of what the new base will look like in Deadlock? Because that's gonna maybe get an update soon, and or it's in the works. So weird, the tone shift in the middle, but so messed up. Yeah. It just makes you so uncomfortable, which is technically what it's supposed to do, yeah. Have yet to. Be excited then. Have a thrill in your life. You have Deadlock in your library. 1 a.m. Do it. No. Yeah, don't listen to Kai. Listen to the other part of Kai. Please don't. You know I told you about the tall guy with the big... Yes, with the big heads going up center. You already asked me on a second date. We haven't... Hear ye. If I had a little bell, I'd be ringing it. You guys, ky3len got Riz. ky3len got Riz. She got a second date before the first date. ky3len got Riz here. Sorry, I'm ringing the invisible bell. Ding, 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 ding. Tomorrow because no work? Fuck yeah. Maybe I make everybody stay up late tomorrow and we watch either Resident Evil or The Mummy. Hehe. Or I play games with friends. You know. Take some, you win some. ky3len got Riz. ky3len got Riz. Of course ky3len got Riz. If you guys met ky3len in real life, she is like a beaming little... She is the sun in my life. She's just like... I love that girl. I love that girl so much. Makes me so happy. She is queen shit. Oh my god. Movie night's back. Movie nights are possibly coming back. Temporarily. What? Yeah. I'm not sure what day to do it on though. But we really want to watch The Mummy and we want to watch Resident Evil. Because Coco, oh my god, the Resident Evil movies in... Oh wait, I have you on... I should send you the stuff on Twitter. It's in production right now. And I'm very excited. Never stop, just go to server. Not on the server you expected? So true. Turn up does do movie nights. I wish I could just throw on a movie and like not be in there because I want to provide movies for you guys, but like sometimes I want to play games. Wow, 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 wow. Steal me whenever. Hell yeah. Kidnap quiet. Wait, what is that? Minecraft. Thanks so much. Building a 7th floor? Damn. Fuck it up, Haunted. Show us progress pictures, because that sounds really cool. An observatory? You're the sun in my life, Shayla. Literally, I get so happy. It's always when everything's going bad, and then the universe is just dangles you in front of me, and I'm like, oh my god, everything's better. Everything's better. He was like, are you free Monday nights? So I was like, yeah, I'm free. And he went, you're not anymore. I'll pick you up at 6. Damn, that's fucking crazy. Damn. He said, write it down. You're busy now. That's so cute. Oh my god. Fuck it up, Shayla. I'm so happy for you. We're getting a surprise collection. Ooh, one of my favorite people. I'm not allowed to know. Excited? And I love this person. Fuck yeah, Haunted. As you deserve a little treat. A little treat, especially since your birthday. You had your birthday. No movie? Yeah. It's separate. It's the people, I don't know if you saw it, Coco, because me and Jocelyn talked about it, but Weapons, director from Weapons, is, at least from what I've heard, and he's talked about it, is the one who has picked up the Resident Evil movie. So he's picked it up. It's a single narrative. And that's it. That's all I know. I think it's in Raccoon City. Because, like, the pictures that I'm seeing is it's, like, exploded car. Exploded car. Police car covered in snow. It takes place during winter. That doesn't really add or take away anything. I don't really care about that. But, like, yeah. Get to watch Weapons, but I did see it pop up and... Oh, it's on HBO now? Okay. Underground. But yeah, he did that and he did Barbarian too. So he has like good sense of horror, but a little bit of sense of comedy, which I'm like, okay. Okay. But yeah, I'm not sure which Resident Evil, but he's following a single narrative instead of like how with Welcome to Raccoon City, they try to smush 2 games. And I'm just so upset that I'm like, you had a perfect chance to smush 2 and 3 together, and that makes sense. Hi, microwaved beans. I hope you're well today. I think it was your internet that was fitzing out yesterday, so I hope that's better. Story's tall, damn. I'm not gonna change it. I wanted it to look pretty, but zombies keep coming. Kill the zombies. Murder them. Minecraft. It's a Minecraft phase for a lot of people right meow. We love Minecraft though. I need to move my poppy. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. Round. But so I'm really excited about that Resident Evil movie. That's what I saw last night. I'll have to find them right now because I know I liked it on my Twitter. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Jump it. Sorry, I opened up Twitter and I started going Ace got casted for One Piece live action and it's very You know, the round, stamp on the ground, jump, jump. I still can't believe Pyramid Head was in Smiling Friends, dude. That was a craziest cameo. I love how my house looks like I've never been able to do that again. Dude, sometimes I make buildings in Minecraft and I'm like, never again. This is peak. This is amazing. I did that once on my friend's server and it was in literally a crevasse. And I made it with like, I was in creative mode. So I put jewels and diamonds and just all along the like crevasse and flowers and vines in this like sanctuary. Never gonna be able to do that again. Very well, but y'all, hell yeah. Just had a heart attack because my power, oh my god. Been acting nicer. Okay, that's good. Honestly, our internet's been a little funky for a while now too. So I get that. I get that a lot. The power going out is sometimes how I wake up in the morning because it goes out. I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna get up now. It turns on right away. Move it all around, jumping all around. Da, da, do, do. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. This is why people don't play Minecraft. I way overbuild and then I'm shit at the actual game. Hey, sometimes I like just building stuff. Okay, sometimes the building the stuff is the funnest part. I didn't like the other post. Let me send this to Coco. Right. That's how I spell Resident Evil. Resident Evil. Resident Evil film? Let's see. Let me get the car pictures. Yay! Yay! This is exactly what I wanted. We send that to Coco. Evidence. But yeah, I'm very intrigued about this. It's so funny seeing it take place during winter because the rest of the street where they're not filming, no snow. Building is hard. I'm waiting, me lord. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you for telling me. We've been yapping. Hey, horror movie talk, I love it so much. This is a very dramatic song. This is the police car said, I think the actual town that they're in filming, but then the map says Raccoon City. So they're in Raccoon City. So it takes place in Raccoon City. So I hope we're following Leon. Oh, Buffett Bill always gives me. It is that fucking photo is from when me and Nikki went to the mall, and she was like, "Yeah, I got this new fun way to take selfies, and it's the way the girls take it like that." I was like, oh no, buddy, let me show you. Let me do Megamind. You put it like here with the I think like 0.5 and then take it. I have so many like these, Coco. I have a collection of these, but I love them. I need to select a different one for each site, but then they're all the same. My forte, everything. I mean, honestly, Haunted, I don't know how to do a lot of shit in Minecraft. My friend knows how to do a lot of stuff with redstone. And I'm like, I don't know how redstone works in the first place, bro. Long dumb tangent. Ooh, okay, I'm watching the Kardashians. Fair. Kim is trying to pick our souvenir. Okay, the souvenirs for her son. And she's like, should I get him this ninja figure? She like points to a pop. It's Gojo. Not her calling Gojo. Can I get this ninja figure? I'm so glad you're watching the Kardashians simply for that. That is so funny. Oh my god. I love that. I love that a little too much. Okay. Let's get the show on the road. We're playing Resident Evil 5 today. I'm actually, before I go over there, let me look up the chapters for Resident Evil 5. I kind of want to know where we are. Oh, maybe I should type in chapters. I'm so excited about that Resident Evil movie, though. Build a horse and I build a farm, and me and Quiet live together. You so much food for everyone. You are the baker. It ain't much, but it's an honest living. Just say good and Mr. O. Really overhype myself. You are God. Now you are God of Minecraft. The fancy stuff that makes me feel so smart. We got the knowledge. They ain't nerds. They ain't no nerds over there. It's gonna follow Brad Vickers. I would love that. I love Brad. I do. I love Barry more, but like, Brad is so funny. I love him. Give him more screen time. 2, 3, 2. Okay, so that's where we are. I like making food. You like caring for others. Did I type in characters? I did. Okay, auto-filled. Okay, so there is... Oh. Okay. Back to this. Excuse me. Go away, ad. You, go away, ad. So we're on 3, 2. So we're halfway through that. If we work really hard... I think we're almost to the scene I want, at the least. And I'll be able to tell you, Kai, today, too, of when to shut me up and listen to the audio. And I'll stop talking. Because I think that's in this, like, underground... Oh, my eye's going wonky. I can't see. Better, faster, stronger. There's only 6 chapters. So we are about halfway-ish through. I am gonna kidnap. That's all my acting stuff. Somebody remind me, I need to buy all my acting stuff today. I think I'm gonna actually use my stream money and the money that I make here to try to fuel some of that. That's just so expensive. 7 minutes is in chapter 5-3. Okay, yeah, I think we can get to that. I'm gonna make that my determination, but I'm gonna be honest, if we get to that, we're finishing the game. Gotcha. Yeah, because I need to at least buy Actors Access. I think I might hold off on my IMDb Pro before I get, well, while I get some other things in order and then get that. So yeah. Sure you can. Sure I can. I feel bad if I spend it. I want a new keyboard and mouse, bro. God forbid I have to do career stuff. Career. I'm gonna kidnap a little bear. In 1 second. Let me get this up. Because I need to get everything in order before we open up the game. So that it doesn't mess up anything. I'll be honest. Let me see something. That world around the world, around the world, around. Okay. I'm trying to scroll. There we go. The scroll wasn't working. I mean, sure you guys can get to the point. Heavy sarcasm. Hey. Bear napping. Bear be waiting. I believe in us. You're so right, though. Is your name still like that? Hold on. Why the hell is your name like glow like that when I highlight over it?
I made it piss yellow.
I know, I saw that last night and I was like, I can't message that he's asleep right now. And I'm like, why the fuck is it? Why is it glowing? Why is it yelling at me?
I don't know if you noticed, but it's also a different font.
Yeah, it is. I noticed that with quiets, like the other day, because I'm like, why is it thick? Why does it look like I can't read it?
The nitro feature.
It scared me. Yours is nice. Yours is like, yes, medieval times with piss yellow.
Mm-hmm. It had to be piss yellow.
It did. I agree.
Like,
Let me get this. Okay, we're gonna go sit on this screen so I can make sure everything's in the right place. Is this your choice of PNG today? Is this your selection, me lord?
Yeah.
You have time. I haven't opened up anything. This is your selection? Okay, selection has been made.
Yes.
Mochi, you have to write that down. Mochi, write that down.
My little guy.
Hey, Malina. Your name is Thick
baby.
with 2 C's. Quiet. 2 C's. Oh, I should pause the music. Daft Punk was just going off in my ear. Pop off, Daft Punk. Daft Punk? Daft Punk, pop up. What if I... No, I shouldn't. But what if I... Maybe I should...
Where are you?
Where are ye? Where's Resident Evil? What if I fix all of the settings in it?
Quiet, you take care of yourself. I know you don't like... I know you don't like this evil guy, so you take care.
You don't like this
Look,
evil
I don't
guy.
know, my words aren't going very well.
I'm the evil guy. Quiet doesn't like me. No. Where are you?
I'm so sorry.
Don't listen to me, Quiet. 'Tis just but a joke. Obviously, it's because Mercha doesn't here, so you have no interest in the series anymore. Because your man has left.
No much.
Okay,
No
Mochi,
much.
how
could you do this?
How could they do this to us? This is obviously the only reason we only... This is... Yes. I can English. Yes. Yes, I can.
Resident Evil.
Okay.
Not allowed.
I think... No. Play game. Continue. Resident Evil? Mochi, why are you going in between? That's not a walkway. Don't go under the mirror and don't jump over the mirror.
It is now.
It for sure is. She's walking through. Don't come back this way. What are you doing?
Go under it. You can't go over it. You have to go through it.
Come over here. Right meow. Get your butt over here. Okay, you can sit at the window. That's okay. That's acceptable. Oh, no. We're not sending that to it. Infinite ammo. Infinite ammo sounds so nice. We might... If I have that 4.6, we're gonna use that. I believe in us. I believe in us. I say is... I'm gonna go into the restroom really quick. I want to do that before we started anything. So I'm leaving you. I'll grab you, Nessie. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna grab another drink just in case. I'm gonna grab something else. I don't know what else that is gonna be, but I'm going to be prepared and we're gonna sit here for a while. Nessie is here though. Entertain. Don't entertain. It's okay.
Yippee.
I'm leaving you. Mochi, come on.
Ah!
Oh, don't meow, Mochi. Come here. Mochi. Okay, fine, Mochi.
Damn, I can't believe you're asking Nessie out on a date. That's you gotta see. I don't know if Nessie will say yes. Nessie's very picky when it comes to people. People have been trying to rizz up Nessie for ages.
Hi, Mochi. Come on, Mochi. You want out? Okay, no, you don't. Miss Mochi. I know how to. There we go. Who the fuck is Jolito 2025? The fuck is...
Huh?
I got back and I looked at my screen and it's an invite.
Huh? Who? Who the fuck is that?
I put it to invite only. This happens on Left 4 Dead 2. So
That's wild.
so I'm gonna do something really quick.
That's a little fucked up.
What's that for? Me, I don't know how to deal with these things. Me, Alt F4. Thank you, Kev.
Scarl 49 quack, 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 Scarl.
I forgot I never fixed the double
quack.
voice for subs.
429 Quackskull 429 Quackskull 429 Quackskull 429 Quack.
Resident Evil.
Exactly, Kev. Thank you for 10 months with the Prime. Damn, Steve's asking Nessie on her second date before the first date. That's crazy. Fuck it up. That man was probably... See, it's invite. Allow only invited players to join. I should just put it on Rogue. Yeah, we're gonna keep it on Rogue because I don't know how that person got in. I didn't invite them.
Yeah. I have no idea.
And I couldn't say no. The only option was okay. It didn't give me a yes or no, it just said okay. I'm like, what about no? Also, I don't know how long he was sitting there because I was gone. That also makes it very funny. Oh my god, I have so many weapons. I think I have a sniper and a pistol. Do I have money? I really want this one pistol. I want this one. Do I have money? Oh man, I broke. God, I invited them. My little bear would do no such thing. Never. It ain't even worth shit. Selling that. V.
Have you considered infinite ammo?
I have. I didn't turn it on. Yeah, we'll do that. Shiva? Shiva? I have those two. She has those two. Is this fully upgraded? Yes. Is this fully up? No. Is this the best sniper?
Damn. Can't believe you gotta fully upgrade everything.
I am winner. I am winner. Winner! I'll give her one upgrade for that. Let me go look at my purchases. Oh, that's so nice. It's only 4,000. I can afford that.
Ooh.
We could get her a better one.
Do it. Do it.
Lightning Hawk. What do I have right now? What is this? Is that what I was looking at to buy? I guess it was. 7,000 to upgrade that. Jesus Christ.
7.
6? Hey, maybe 7? Oh, we did like the other shotgun. I think I'm Baroque now.
Damn.
I think I'm broke now. So I can't buy the Hydra. I can't afford the Hydra. We can buy the jailbreak. Shotgun. Ithaca? Oh, this is of Ithaca. Well, I think we'll keep this for now. I'm gonna keep my 5 eggs on me. Jailbreak sucks. I just like the look of the jailbreak. He's so funny. Egg. Don't worry, I got 5 egg. Anybody need a egg? I think this will be good for now.
Egg.
Yeah. Let's just go. We got things to do. Places to be.
I believe in us.
Yeah. Excuse me, Sheva. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, I'm gonna need to remember how to play.
That might help me, Lord.
Yes. Yes. I turned so aggressively it put me into a cutscene. What? Really? Oh. Look, if friend shape, why not friend?
Bite.
Yippee! Jump down! Let's go, Mr. Whitefield! There goes Ellen. I gave her not a pistol. Where are you jumping from? Holy shit. Thanks, Sheva. I was pretty sick of a Sheva, you should shoot them while I try to see if he drops loot.
Holy shit, it is.
Holy shit, it is right. Holy shit, it is. Wow. Oh. Hey, Sheva. What is he doing? Why did he do a backbend?
Because he's sly.
I'm just seeing these explosive bombs. Oh! Sheva, you're okay. Sheva, I think we killed them all.
Gaslighter into thinking that.
As she literally exploded.
Okay. You have no choice.
You're okay. You're okay. Don't worry about it, ma'am. You're okay. You're bleeding out? No, you're not. You're okay. Oh, hey, I might not be okay. Oh, I'm okay. See, Sheva?
Oh. You're okay too.
Yeah, see?
You don't have a choice. You're okay.
It actually flew past my head, so I'm okay. Meow, 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 meow. Sorry, I started singing Africa in my head. Hey, Sheva, let's go get those barrels. Sheva won't mind that I took a detour. Oh, this was for her. Oh. There was no explosive. No one saw anything.
I believe you exploded.
He exploded. Oh. Sheva, could you move? Hey, Sheva, so whoever's... Well, damn. It's him. You know, I have a sniper.
It's him again.
How do I?
Invite him.
Oh, well, damn. The way the music just stopped when I shot him. I eated it. The crocodile, or is this a crocodile or alligator? Honestly, didn't. No, alligator have long nose. So this crocodile, or is it the other way around? I don't know. Anyways, he's hissing at me.
I believe it depends on how many teeth they have.
Okay. Either way, whatever he is, whatever he may be, he's like hissing at me. Chevy looks.
That's kind of rude.
Clean this chair. let me clean this chair off for you, ma'am. You can now rest, Sheva. Wipes face. Perfect seat for a queen.
We gotta get you the DLC so that you can have her pseudo skin that Sheva had.
She's so cute. So demure. Just running around like a crazy person. I believe it's this.
Sheva. Okay, get on the raft and I'll turn the crank.
Oh, thanks, Sheva. I never have to get this close to an alligator to count its teeth to tell what it is. Yeah. Whoa. He's hissing at me again. Oh, this way. Sorry, Sheva. I'm a little stupid. I'm all muscle and no brain.
I'm not stupid.
I want to pet an alligator. I don't want to pet a crocodile or alligator. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do.
No. How to tell if it's a croc or a gator is if it will see you after a while, or if it'll see you later.
You're so right. Oh, AD! Oh, I have to dodge. Hey, so he wants me to count his little teefies, and I don't remember what FV. Oh no, my coffee cup was in the way.
Oh no.
Okay, so it's AD and then FV. We gotta remember that. Is it in that order? I don't know. Last time it said "fuck you." We're gonna change it up.
Oh god, not in FV.
Oh, actually, let me just give that to Sheva. Oh, hey, hold on. Let me actually just take that from Sheva. Okay. There we go. Easy done.
Get on the raft and I'll turn the crank.
Okay, okay.
I'll handle it.
Okay, Sheva, I have to actually look at my keyboard because I don't know where letters are. I don't know the alphabet. You know, I'm just gonna have my two hands on the keyboard. FV again? It hates me. Sorry, I'm screaming into the mic because I'm like leaning forward. Oh, it's so mean. Get up, Chris. Get up, Chris. Okay. We're completely normal. We're completely normal here. That was a lot of FB. That was very rude. Open. I love Chris Redfield. I need to buy those ducks. Bonk. I need to buy my other things first. And then we're allowed a special tweet. Sheva, don't come this way. We're going that way, Sheva. Sheva. I love Sheva. Okay, she's making my way downtown. Walking. Bye, Mr. Alligator, question mark. Oh, if I'm thinking right, this might be the section that was so funny watching Nikki play because she doesn't like spiders.
Oh.
Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there because we're getting to the lore. So, Trisel.
They helped fund the BSAA. What the hell are they doing here?
The Basha, the Tris. Okay, how can I say this? The Trisel. So you remember Umbrella Corporation? Oh, snakes!
Do I remember?
Well, the Trisel is the new one. Type 3 Plagas. Field test.
Oh, that's kind of boring.
When we get best is the Type 3 Plagas. Type 3 was designed to display dramatically enhanced physical abilities over previous versions. I mean, I don't know. The previous versions seemed pretty strong too.
Yeah, the previous version seemed pretty okay.
We had trolls. Like fucking gigantic people.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The control plugger that would provide the host enhanced physical abilities. I'm sorry, did you see the big cheese? He was pretty strong.
He was pretty large. He was a very large man.
He's a very large cheese. A whole round, one may say. These control types were limited in number, and they always caused severe physical changes in the host, and thus it was not always skipping page. Hi, Goomber. How are you? From a business standpoint, this was undesirable. The idea of to create a super soldier without... Oh, yeah. So the whole goal of this all is when Mr. Spencer wanted to outlive everybody. Wanted to become immortal. But also, they're trying to make super soldiers. And they're trying to make...
Oh, of course
expendable.
they are.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we have Oh, an eagle? There's a bird screeching in the game. This is why we have Mr. T, the tyrants, because they're like the big beefy, you know? Barely alive. It's okay, Goomber, you got us.
We do like big beefy men, so...
We do. Gothic does approve of Mr. T. Mr. X? He's Mr. X. He's not Mr. T. Because he reminds me of Mr. T, but he's tyrant, and I always want him to be Mr. T because he's a tyrant, but they name him Mr. X. I didn't do rolls earlier. Viper go 1 in 17 in 20 minutes? Like I
didn't do my roll.
I didn't do so fucked up and evil of me, bro. I'm so sorry, Breasty. God, like I do bad. I got you, Breasty. Oh, I actually don't got anybody.
Hi,
Dusty.
Gooba.
I can't scroll in there. Oh my god. I need to bring up the other page so I can see what stream manager. Please, I need to see. Oh. Oh.
An owl.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Why is there an owl in here?
Oh. Where the hell is this? Oh, there it is. I found it. She had the movement down but to the T. It was actually that's crazy because like I die a lot. These people need to be studied. I die a lot. I light girl. That's I can speak.
Dying Light.
But like I love Dying Light. But that's a lot within 20 minutes. And also, I play squishy characters. Viper goes brrrr, especially when you slither. Viper go pretty hard. Viper go burr. Oh, it's from yesterday, Mallory. Mallory's such a sweet streamer. There we go. There's the first. Okay, first up, turn up. 19.5. What the hell is that number? 7. Turn up is doing amazing. Amazing, sweetie. Next up is Doc. Doc, 14, 16, 11. It's because Chef is on the screen. Yeah.
Understandable.
I will read that in a second. I see that about Mr. X. Next up, Kai. That checks out. 20, 12. Did I just say a year? 20, 12. The world is ending.
2012.
The world is ending. You're doing amazing, but you got a 1 because tomorrow's Friday. What? Someone here talked over you? Hey. Shush. You're doing amazing, sweetie. That's all you need to know. Roll is next quiet, who's lurking, but it's okay. Oh. You know, checks out. A nat 20, an 8, and a 1. You're eepy, you're tired, figuring out a new schedule, you want to stay up till 1 a.m., but you're not allowed to. No worry, hot chat. No worry.
I will fight him if he does.
Exactly. There's an eagle screeching in the background of this game. Okay, and then Gulber. 17, 9, and 7. The 7 also looks like a 1 sometimes, but it's a 7. You're doing great. You're just eepy tired. Whisker. Well, we will try to get to Mr. Whiskers. Okay, I think it's funny that Mr. X doesn't have a name. His canonically name is just Tyrant. Yeah, if they slightly improved the Tyrants, they could have made some fucking money. Most people aren't carrying around a fucking rocket launcher to kill them. Yeah, bro, and they kind of like, what is this saying to me? I lost black. I don't know. Why do I want to say the color? Back in black? Believe the type 3 is perfected. So they just wanted it better to have control of it and whatnot. I stopped reading it and stopped caring. Mr. X was a pretty good, like, bioweapon that they had. And then they just kind of stopped. Okay, gotta make sure it's not a snake. You know? Gotta make sure it's not a snake. Gotta collect them all. Yeah. Got fever, headache, cold, cough. No! Oh. Why you got so much in one? Did you get the bundle deal with that sickness? Anyways, ky3len is the new umbrella corporation, but ky3len is also funding the Bazaar, which is what Chris Redfield is working for, and Sheva. Just different branches. I thought she had a fucking rocket launcher.
So they're just doing it quirky, then.
Yeah. Well, Umbrella Corporation at this point has been shut down. And, I mean, we kind of know why, but later we'll find out why ky3len is doing what it's doing. Because it's ky3len is just another pharmaceutical company. Moral of the story, don't trust a single pharmaceutical company in Resident Evil. They just always end up bad. Which we later find out stuff about.
Understandable. We need medications.
Exactly. You might try. Kill it, Sheva, kill the snake.
That's not Sheva. Did you put a mod in this? No, dot.
I fucking love that video so much. It's so funny. Is this modded? No. Okay, it's the Master Chief. Is that a snake? Well, you're just happy to see me. It's nothing. It's neither. It's neither.
Looks like we've arrived at the oil field.
Yeah. And Irving's
Is that a
not
snake
getting
in your
away
pocket?
this
I'm
time.
just happy to see.
Oh, shiny! I was about to respond and then I saw the shiny. There we go. This is like the only thing I miss from Resident Evil 4 original is that to get the diamonds jewels, you would have to like look up because it was shinies on the rocks. It was so fun.
Oh.
It was so fun. My will in BG3? Yes. Don't trust pharmaceuticals in Resident Evil. Oh, I hate this part.
Look, it's Irving.
It's the Chihuahua. Ay, Chihuahua. He's got some like, he's got some cunty pants, especially with the way he walking. Oh. Okay,
I
Sheva.
need to figure out what I gotta work with tomorrow.
I'll cover you.
Ooh. Ew.
I forget exactly what I need to do, but we're doing this. Sheva, they're spawning.
You gotta be slow. That's what you gotta do. You gotta be slow.
I'm egg. I set that bitch on fire. I don't remember which buttons. Sorry, Sheva, you're in the way. Oh my god, I don't know where I flicked to. Sheva, just cover my butt, okay? I need to get rid of these. Ow! I need to get rid of these people. That's for you, Sheva. Oh, my ankles! Hey, don't hit me. Oh, I could have left hook him. Could have right hooked him. Oh no, Sheva, get down here! I needed to heal you! And me! Come on, Sheva. Sheva, this way! Psst, 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 psst. Just a little... Psst, 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 psst. This way, Sheva! Come on, Sheva. Okay, okay. Okay, Sheva. We gotta go do the hard part now. Crack weasel. Wait, so if I... Oh my god, I can actually pause this game. You're telling me about the video? They call her Tomb Raider? Her name is Croft? Yeah, Lara. Lara Croft. I love her so much. If they ever rebooted the reboot of that, that would be fun to be in. Oh, please, I don't understand what you're telling me. Pull the lever. Okay, this is a little bit less stressful, but I know it's about to get a little bit more stressful. Stop shooting me. Bye, Sheva. Have fun.
They're probably leaving Sheva to die.
Yeah, I kind of did. Look at what just came out.
Yeah.
I don't know what buttons is my fucking... Is he able to get up here? Sheva! 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 I'm scared, Sheva! Sheva, I'm scared. Sheva, shoot him! Shoot him right meow! Oh my god. Sheva, hey, so Sheva, let's leave. There's no way to, like, defend yourself. Like how... Okay, good, Sheva got down. Okay, come on, Sheva.
Come on. Okay.
Yeah, don't be by the explosive. He walked past it, Sheva. Sheva, he walked past it. He walked past the landmine. Okay, Sheva. Unload on him, please. She's not unloading on him. So Sheva has all the grenades. Come on, Sheva. I hate this man so much. I hate this man so much. Okay, okay. You know, it's very funny how she's not shooting him. And I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't have... Oh, thank God, he's dead. Those guys... He had a really pretty bracelet on him. He like can like one-shot you because of the stupid way this game works.
That's evil.
It's very fucked up and evil. It's so fucked up and evil, but... Yippee! Zipline! But it's okay, we have enhanced weapons. It's just a lot easier when you have 2 people, because then you have one person just deal with that. Unfortunately, I have Sheva. She didn't shoot him at all. I don't know why.
She's a little silly.
She is a little silly. It's okay. Now all the enemies are gone because they don't constantly spawn, so we're free to loot and finish the actual thing we need to do. Dreamy. I love Lara Croft. I love Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Sheva,
You grab it.
pick that up. Sheva, also give me that. And give me that.
That's so silly.
Sheva's just keeping all the items. God, Sheva, don't take all my items. She only had. She just had my ammo. She wasn't hoarding anything. I love Sheva. Yeah, Sheva is sniper and machine gun. And I carry. Ooh, I need to bring out the Magnum soon. I think once we get to chapter 4 or 5 for sure. Or. Oh, okay. Do you guys have the popcorn boxes there, like the specialty popcorn boxes? Because I know it changes per country which ones.
I didn't even know they. I didn't even know they were a thing until you mentioned it.
I'm sorry, the music just went.
Not a thing here at all.
Hey, so I want to move.
I kind of wish they were. It would be so silly. But also, nobody actually buys anything from the cinemas.
That's fair.
They just. No, we just bring comically large bags and just sneak everything in.
So do you?
Either that, or I just bring out my giant handbag, and then I just say, "Well, I have my giant handbag."
I have my giant. I have my massive. Okay, Sheva's following me.
Like, they don't
Oh, God, Sheva!
bought the ticket.
Excuse me, pardon me. I don't want to shoot him. Sheva, get the freak out of there. You know, Sheva? Fuck them. Oh, no. Sheva, just click the door, Sheva. Click the door. Okay, anyways. Hey, come on. Sheva. Chris. You know what's up. You know what's up, Walt. Because I was gonna say the popcorn boxes for the FNAF movie are really cute. Because there's a Freddy one, but his face comes off and you can put it on your face. I'll have to send you a picture of it. Did he just go like pss, 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 to us?
Shiva?
You're alive.
He just went pss, 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 pss.
Are you okay?
Oh, so
What? How did you get here?
his whole team is dead now.
The port when we were attacked. And then
So she thought he was dead too.
I ended up here.
Oh.
Where's the rest of the team?
I saw someone, Fox, I saw someone walking around TwitchCon with the
Why did you
Doom
not
bucket.
retreat?
Bucket?
We are no match for them.
I've got unfinished
Can you
business.
even get? I don't think we can even get the popcorn buckets over here.
Yeah, that's why I'm
I
like,
was looking, and I don't know. I don't think so.
because sometimes it changes per country, like what they release.
I'm not leaving
But I'm also like,
until I
you know,
catch
I
Irving
actually
and find
don't
out what the hell's going on here.
know if you guys get them. Shiva adult content?
To be fair, I've
Question?
only been to
Let's say the
one
chit-chat for
movie
later.
in the past years,
That's fair.
so. And that was a couple of weeks ago. So
That's interesting though. I'm gonna have to buy you or and send it to you. I'll have to buy you Mr. Or. Also, I have tonic gummies. Should I be eating these? No, because it's just more sugar. I say that with love because I'm having coffee, which is sugar. Sheva, there's a man with a shovel. Kill him. Oh, now he's dead. Sheva! Bruce! Sheva! Sorry. Just spamming the buttons in this game is so much fun. What?
What?
What? Oh, I think I threw that grenade too close to him. That's okay. Oh! Somebody behind me? Okay, no. Bing bong. Boom. Okay. That was a white man, wasn't there? Oh. Everybody, stop. I didn't want to eat the egg, but I ate the egg. Oh my god, there's a big man! There's two big men!
You two, on the elevators. Move!
Okay, Sheva, move! Oh, gee. Sheva, I hope you made it. I don't think Sheva made it. No! Sheva, no! Ouchie. Ouchie. Oh my god. I made a grave mistake.
Oh lord.
I made a grave mistake by stepping in this.
I believe in you.
We're just gonna clear these little guys out. Ow! Who the hell's...
Waiting for an invitation? Get the lad out!
I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. Okay. You know, we did it. It's fine. It's fine. Been playing through the Resident Evil game since... Yes, good! I'm so excited for 9. Requiem is gonna be so much fun.
It's gonna be so interesting to see.
Yeah. Especially being back in Raccoon City. I'm so intrigued. My lovely little bear friend here, Kai, has never played a single Resident Evil game before. So we have been playing through the entire series again. And just... I have the bear in my pocket and they're coming with me. He's coming with me through the whole thing.
Letting you info dump the entire series lore.
Oh! Oh, it's okay, Mr. Chris. It's okay, just run. Is nobody else gonna shoot that thing? They shot it. I hope they did. Oh, they didn't shoot it. Oh, okay.
Okay. You sure they did it?
Give. Request.
Take this.
This is
I didn't want to get seen.
But I will see what I can do.
I hate the...
Damn bad.
Oh, good heavens. Oh, good heavens.
Can you still get shot in the cutscene?
Roger.
Okay. Wait, what'd you say?
Can you get shot in the like? Can they still attack you while you're in like the cutscenes like that?
No, they end up just like running around you in a weird way, like running at you, but you're still in the cutscene. Okay. Oh, I'm very scared of him being here.
Okay, got it.
Come on!
Okay. I'm like, I don't want that man standing right there. He's a little too close. Link to them random. I put up OG4. Get fuck yeah. 5, then remake 4.
It looks like Irvin is trying to blow up the
The
place and
village?
make his escape.
Have I made up my mind if I want to play 1 again?
Too late.
2
I'll try to
remake?
find us a way out of here.
That's fair.
All right. We'll go after Irving.
Good. Okay. Now there's a talk up ahead.
Sorry, I'm like intaking this
Probably
information.
make his break.
Copy that. And Josh,
Oh,
be careful.
the excitement. Oh my god, Fox. I'm so excited for you. If you need any help, if you need anything, you tell me.
Okay.
Them all except 5 and 6, because everyone tells me those are the worst ones. They're not the worst. 5 and 6, if you can get somebody to play with you, top tier. 6 is like, everybody shits on 6, but oh my god, it's so much fun with somebody else. It is such a fucking like shitty little game. It's really good, and the story's really cool because it's 4 different stories, and they're all intertwined. 5 is good. It's just,
How are we gonna do 6?
I don't know. I can't make up my mind because I don't want to spend that much time on that game. I really want to play 7 and Village. I really want to play those. I really want to play them so badly.
You could do one or two of 6. See how you feel,
That's what I'm thinking.
and then just a lore dump on me.
I think I might have to do that. Because Ada's isn't really worth it. She's very fun, but she's like, it's a secret mission. I think either Leon's or Chris's route is probably the best. I love Sherry and Jake, but their information I can just give to you. Think I have anyone to play with me? Especially on stream? If you need, Fox, if you need anything. If you want somebody to play with you. I'll play the games
feel
again.
You like gripping onto something and like
I'm holding my Sonic gummy. I'm holding my Sonic gummy. But yeah, if you did want to play those, Fox, just let me know. I would gladly play them. Who am I holding on to? I'm holding on to Tails. Because they are really fun. 6, I will say, is probably the one you could skip. I feel like 5's still important because it's like an end of a story of an important character. Not necessarily. Oh yeah, like an yeah. It's like a full circle. Took me a while to get to those games anyway. Yeah, you got some time to decide. 5 sometimes does break though, but because it wasn't made for PC, and by that they didn't really want to fix the files, but I think they fixed the files now, so you don't have to download a thing to fix it. But I'm still excited. I love
they
it.
haven't remade 5 and 6 yet.
I think. What did I hear? That sounded like I heard. It sounded like I was talking to the voices in my head. Like actually, what did they just tell me? I think it was 5 that's gonna be the next remake.
Ooh, I mean, it makes sense. They've already remade what?
Up to 4,
They've
except for
already at
1.
least remade 4. Yeah.
4 1. It got a remake, but
yeah.
it never got a proper like now new remake. Yippee! Getting remake next? No. I would like it to, but I don't think it is. Oh, that was for you, Sheva. Sorry. Give.
Thanks.
But yes, I'm so excited for you, Fox. I need to play on your Jingle Jingle note, Fox. I need to play through the Silent Hill games. Because I think it's one of the other Silent Hills that's going to get remade soon, too. So I need to get on top of that. I need to play those.
Really good.
Yeah, I need to find them. I really love Silent. I want to play Silent Hill 1.
Irving's boat. Let's go.
That's the one being remade? Yeah, it is. Whoa, Sheva. I just know Sheva was just like, okay, come on, let's go. I'm like, hold on. I'm talking to my silly little people right now. Okay, what did you say? I just died in a cutscene due to typing in chat? That's real as hell, Vault. Not even there's too many people saying, but I don't believe it. They're zombies. A lot of the stuff, I remember we talked about it not too long ago about it. Some of the stuff, oh, am I getting on that boat? Yeah. Oh, I'm coming up to that fight. Okay.
No, not allowed.
No, I'm not getting on it quite yet, but I'm getting on it soon, and that means boss fight. I'm pretty sure. No. 6 is kind of important. It's a fun shooter. There's so many cutscenes in 6. There's so many cutscenes. There's so many Some rumors about Zero and Code Veronica being in development. I really hope so, because I love Resident Evil 0. That one's really fun, and that's like Zero gives a lot of information too. But yeah, I need to play through the Silent Hill games. I need those. Silent Hill F is so fun. I'm playing through it the second time now, and seeing all the different changes and whatnot is crazy. I don't know if this is the dock I needed to be on. No, it's the other side, and then I come to the side. Okay. Got spin-offs that exist? Yes. If you play any spin-offs, Fox, Code Veronica, basically. Code Veronica is so fucking good. I highly recommend that one. But I think you would have to, emulate. I was like, what's that word? The Revelation games are really fun. The information is not really that important. But Zero is the only one that's super easy to get because it's on Steam. And it's really fun, and it's basically a prequel to the events of 1. Better than that.
Zero was very fun to watch.
Yeah, Zero though is infuriating because it's the old mechanics, and I fucking hate. You have to save. If you save and then you go do stuff and you didn't save in a while and you die, you go back to your save. Hello, Plague Man.
Wait, isn't that...
Ew.
Bye, Plague Man.
Can you know? Why did he
one of Claire? The fireworks. I hate this man, but I love him. He's so peculiar. He's so weird. Chris, I don't even think he could hear you say, wait. Code Veronica is with Claire. That was Claire's big game, and that was supposed to be, I think, Resident Evil 2. And then they said, no. It was either that or 3, one of the two. It was supposed to be a main number game, and they said, actually, no. Okay, we're running. I'm locking in. Locking in misses all my shots. Actually, yeah, you know what, Sheva? Fuck it up. Fuck it up, Sheva. Gimme! Jewel! That wasn't Jewel, that was ammo. It might have been a Jewel, I don't know. Oh! Okay, come on, Sheva. Come on, Sheva. I can't really maneuver these corners. I can't really turn fast. Oh, that's him. Sheva. Oh, she's kind of cornered. Okay, come on, Sheva. Okay. Okay, come on, Sheva. Come on, Sheva. Sheva. Sheva, come on. But yeah, Code Veronica was supposed to be a main title game, and they ripped it away from Claire. Claire's only ever been in, spin-offs now, instead of main titles. And it's so sad.
She deserves her own game.
She does.
Like a main game.
She's such a... She would make... Ooh. Actually... She was in 2? Claire? Yeah, that's the only main title game she was in. That's her only main title. Thinking about it now, and everybody's so focused of like, oh my god, it's gonna be Leon that's in the new remake. It would be really interesting to see... Leon! It would be really interesting to see, Claire, because her big thing is she's basically a reporter. Because she wasn't in any sort of the military like Basa or the police department like Leon, so she didn't get blackmailed like Leon did. So she just went into reporting and works for a lot of foundations. But Grace, her mother, was a reporter, so it'd be really interesting having Claire come back because reporting and whatnot. And Claire's the whole time has been trying to dig and find more information about Umbrella and everything, so it'd be really interesting her coming back to Raccoon City 2 to find more information. That would be interesting. I'm like, actually, that'd be really cool if we got Claire. Actually, I would love that. Skipping 6, I only have it on Switch Digital. Like it, but I feel like it's not memorable. I can agree with you, Vault. It is really fun and everything. It's not as memorable. It is, for me, it's really memorable, but because I play it with my same friend over and over again, and so we've made a lot of memories playing it. I remember, well, actually, I remember as a kid crying in Chris's story, but I couldn't play some of them because I struggled because of a lot of the mechanics and everything. Clara's 10? Clara in 10? Clara in 10! Give us Clara! I mean, Requiem, give us Clara 9, please. In Requiem. Let me organize my package.
Just give us Claire.
You give her Claire. I wouldn't want to show that. Be so all. Thank you for the follow ball. Thank you. I just like running through it for fun, but the story is meh. Understandable. I do think the story is cool in a sense that you have 4 different stories, but they're all connected, and you see where they line up. But it is so fucking long. It's so long. Ooh. Shiva. Give me that.
Not gonna lie, I'm half tempted to get them on Switch.
That's fair. That's where I have Resident Evil 1 remake and 0 on my Switch, and it's really fun. Those ones are a lot more fun, especially since it's the tank
it just
controls.
Feels a lot cozier.
Yeah,
I'll be real.
I agree. And
I have no other way to describe it.
Introduces Grace to Claire. Oh wait, Kev, actually that would be pretty cool, because Claire is on the younger side too, compared to like her brother, who I don't know how he's still kicking it sometimes. He's still kicking it too in Village, because with the Rose DLC, like the Rose DLC is obviously when Rose is now no longer a baby, so he's even older in that, and he's still kicking it. Brother in Christ, oh my god. It's just crazy. I'm like, okay. Come back and says, oh look, if it isn't Claire Redfield, and she responds, actually, it's Claire. It's Claire Kennedy! I'm telling you, please! I love those two together. I love Leon and Ada so much, but I love Claire and Leon too. Hi, Junior! We missed you yesterday.
Hello!
Yeah, I say that literally because I was like, oh, we gotta give George, the character in Stardew, something. I was like, wait a minute. Junior's not here. I hate Zero. It sucks, but I don't like having it. I can agree with that, Vault. I love Zero so much because I love Rebecca Chambers. I love that girlie so much. She's my favorite. So I love playing her, and I love Billy. I'll have to organize the floor.
Billy!
Kai watched me organize the floor. I also will say we did not finish that game on stream because I gave up. Because I lost a lot of progress.
It was being mean to you.
Yeah, and I was just like, nah. Nah, not this time.
It was being mean to you.
Exactly.
Like we want you to have fun.
Is this the better one? 2000. Yeah, this is the better one. Chris, do I have Magnum ammo? I might need to buy some. I have egg. I struggled, so I quit. No, real as hell, Vault. That game and even Resident Evil 1, I struggle with a lot, but because you can soft lock yourself a lot of the times and everything, they're really fun. They are just tedious. It is a survival. That is like really like survival puzzle game. It's it's not like survival like more shooter based. It is, oh my god, it's a puzzle figuring everything out. Is George the old man? George is the old man. Oh my god, how was the move, Junior? Tell us as we sit in this lovely little screen as I buy things. How did it go? I can be a rocket launcher, but if I bring a rocket launcher, I will miss it. I know I will. Hot? That's fair. That is understandable. Oh my god, we used all of our...
Damn.
Okay, eggs actually are gonna, get removed. Yeah, I think that's good. I don't think I need grenades actually for this.
Oh, all of the Resident Evils on Switch are half price.
Oh, you were talking about George? Fair. Fair. Sure. George is all yours. You can marry that old man. We'll give him to you. Don't worry.
I didn't realize Revelations was on Switch.
Yeah, Revelations. Oh my god, there's another one that has completely nothing to do with like main story game or even side games because it was an arcade-based game. It was called Dead Aim. That one is so much fun, but because we had the arcade gun at home too, because they sold it as an arcade game, but purchasable for the PlayStation, and it came with the little gun as if you're playing on like the arcade, and it was so much fun. But that was on a cruise. And I don't know when that one came out, but it definitely reminds me of the first Revelation because that one's on a boat as well.
I am absolutely sobbing that, so they've put Resident Evil Requiem on the Switch. You can't buy it or anything, but it's there as like, oh, it's coming soon. It's gonna be a Switch 2 exclusive, so I can't buy it.
I hate that shit. I need to make some purchases for that. Maybe I should bring those out.
Village is gonna have a gold edition that is specifically for the Switch 2.
Ugh.
So is 7. That's gonna have a Switch 2 gold edition.
I'm gonna buy those gold
That's
editions.
Not gonna be on Switch.
I need to buy, and they're selling it for the Switch game.
I don't think the remakes are on here.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think 4 remake is on here. I just wanted to see what they had.
You don't need a gun in this fight, turrets. True. True, I don't.
Oh yeah, no, that's
I'm still organizing my pockets.
That's the old Leon.
that's the old one. I need to play that in VR still. I also want to play, I think we might do another Resident Evil 4 run, because I really love that game, but it's randomized, so it's randomized enemies, and I think that's really fun.
Yo.
And fine, I love my new location. I did spend all my money moving, but hey, start my new job next week. That's so much fun. Just need a little further go. Hey, if you need anything, Junior, especially in this just like awkward little time period before you start working, let us know. If you need any like recommendations for stuff out there, I got people. I got you, Junior. It has no easy mode. It makes you play normal. Interesting. It said, nah, buddy, you can do this. Then ammo is tight on the setting. Yeah, that's fair, because it's survival. Those are more survival based. Appreciate it? Yeah. I know people out there, so I know things. What was I gonna say before I start this? Some free mac and cheese downtown. Hell yeah, we take that. We take what we can get.
Oh hell yeah.
Something about the Resident Evil games. Oh, I need to do like a look down for the purchases for Requiem, because they're doing like a little box set of the games that holds them. That's like a little book, and I want that. But people were talking about like, this is a really jip of like no collector's edition, so everybody's like, do I just buy the deluxe and it just comes with a steel box and the little standee, or is there going to be like a collector's edition? Because they've done a collector's edition since 7, so it's kind of like no collector's edition, so it's a little bit odd, and I really don't know if they're going to do one at all. So I'm like, oh, okay. Six Flags at least once? Oh, so real for that, for Six Flags. I'm gonna hit yes on this, and we're going. As that only affects me because I'm the one in control. If I don't go on them?
What happened to Irving?
Six Flags usually has other events going on. So yeah, I think it still could be fun.
Well, he can't have gone too far.
Josh.
Thanks.
Chris Redfield is so large.
Thank you later. We got company.
It's just so amazing. Like, wow. His arms are the size of his fucking face.
I am staring in the most respectful way I can.
Yeah. There we go. Sheva. Did I put my sniper on too? Yes, I did.
So, I will be back in a second. My
Okay.
washing machine is beeping.
It said please. Ah, the door's open now. The D-O-R-E. Oh, is there somebody on that boat? Is there somebody there? The real proportions? Yeah. Oh my god. Kaboomy.
See what you two can do to get it.
Okay. Oh, hey, I don't have that much ammo. I hope the thing above me doesn't harm me. That thing is going to harm me. Actually, just kidding. He didn't. He saved me from harming me from that. Shove it. There's a lot of things right there. I suppose I should have kept my grenades. Oh, thank God. Hey, could you drop ammo, my dude? No? Okay. Oh, that's ammo I need. Oh. Oh, thank you, Sheva. Okay, okay. Oh, yes. More ammo. Reload that, Chris. This is so funny saying... Isn't there two? Oh, there's only one. Okay. Get it, Sheva. Why didn't you open it? Money. Saying respectfully, I'm saying... Whoa. Oh, really? I don't know why I shot him once in the chest. Sheva picked that up, yay. I need to actually properly aim. Ooh. Except I can't do that. The head kick. Dude, some of the kicks she does, like, damn, okay, girl. Okay, I get it. I see it. Oh, I need this. I desperately need that. Task 2? Yes. Why, yes. What you need. How far are these games on keyboard? I mean, I've only played them on keyboard and mouse. This one in particular... Oh. Well, that was quite rude. I was answering a question. This one's a little rough on keyboard and mouse. If you play 1 or 0, they're not hard on mouse and keyboard. Those ones just have the fucked up... Can I shoot this?
Get down!
F? Oh. Oh.
Another pipe! Get down!
Okay. Don't gotta tell me twice, or sometimes you do. 1 and 2 are just a little rough, but that's just the fixed camera angles. Actually, on keyboard and mouse, like gameplay-wise, perfectly fine. Ding. Bang. Ding. Bang. I can't aim. Oh, wow! What hit me, Sheva?
Another game. Okay, you two know what to do.
Oh, that fucking hurt my head. Ow. Oh my god, Fox, does that mean you're gonna play the Resident Evil 4 remake? I fucking love that game so much. I love that shit so much. A little too much.
Don't.
Where am I going?
Be careful.
I almost died. Not the remake. Ooh, too expensive.
That's not good for you.
I will get you that game. If it go- Oh god. Okay, okay, hold on. Wait. The original is also still really fun. I killed him. I shot him at once. Oh, is that one? Oh, okay, I did shoot him. Just the OG. The OG is really good. I don't think I had any problems with the OG on mouse and... Or, yeah, mouse and keyboard. You can't... Oh, you can't hit me. Oh. You couldn't hit me. You know, fair. Fair, fair, fair. The remake might be too much. The remake fucks up my computer And I have a chunkier graphics card now too, and it still fucks it up. Something's wrong with my computer. Jordy's been trying to figure it out for ages. We still don't know. Ooh, Emerald. Okay, so I should go press the button. Put that for the future then? Yeah. I don't know what's wrong. Oh. I don't know what's wrong. Why, like, does such a thing and messes up. But, yeah, that's fair. But other than that, I think... Oh. I think they all basically ran pretty fine.
I'll get the other lever.
Oh. Sorry, Sheva. I didn't know it was this type of thing. She's about to get exploded.
Exploded.
Yeah, imploded. Sheva, did you take the ammo that I wanted? No, you didn't. It just despawned. It left the chat room. Sheva, I'm starting to run out of ammo. I think I have, willy-nilly. Come here, Sheva.
You grab it.
Okay.
Sheva, pick that up. Sheva, come on. Sheva this way. Sheva, do that. Ooh, Sheva ammo. Oh, Sheva, I don't have space. Hey, Sheva. I'm gonna heal, Sheva. Thank you, Sheva. Sheva did nothing in that situation.
Take it.
Okay.
Run, Sheva. Run, Sheva.
Sheva did something in my heart.
Come on.
Oh, Sheva hit it.
Take it.
Pick that up, Sheva. Oh my god. Yeah, this game for turning and spinning, not it. Not it at all. Sheva, this way. We gotta see if there's loot. There's a red herb, Sheva. And ammo.
Sheva.
Oh, thank god. Oh my god, I'm spinning really fast. Sheva! Wish! Sheva! That's what it's like playing this game?
Leon!
Oh!
Sorry, I have an addiction to the...
It's so fun.
can't-
Whoa.
Let's go get this herb.
This Iron. Yes. Yippee! We did it! Woohoo! Yippee! Leon! I miss Ashley. I love Force so much. I think a little too much. But I love Village. I cannot wait till we get to Village. We should make it a priority to cosplay as one of the characters in each of the Resident Evils from now on.
You're gonna sink us.
We've got to do something.
Guess I gotta learn.
I'll pull out.
I would though.
We gotta get aboard that ship.
Yes. Oh my god, I'll make little overlays for your little bear. Just plop it on. Not even like attached to the PNG.
I'll give access to the files of my bear.
I'll just sketch over it and give a separate file and just put it on this screen so it doesn't even move. It's just permanently. Ew, why is he looking like that?
You're just one of Excella's playthings.
I love his stupid ass voice. I just want to be the little playthings. His voice is so funny. Oh my god, he reminds me of the
Won't you two just die already?
the scout.
You're making me look bad.
The scout from Team Fortress 2, a flyer.
Research like this doesn't help itself, you know.
That's the way he sounds like.
Yet everyone looks down on me. But not anymore.
Don't do it!
Time to become an Irwin impersonator. Oh, so it is still the Las Plagas. Because it has a little critter in it. Ew. He's like tweaking out on the string. He's making me look bad. Yeah. I love how perfectly these bows, like whenever they inject themselves with like the super virus, They always, like, they change perfectly for the environment. Like, we're on a boat. Okay, he became a tentacle monster for the ocean. How considerate of him. An extremely bad makeover, bro. Time to fight him.
Chris, status report. What the hell is that thing?
Oh, I have to hold it.
It's too dangerous.
We'll try to stop it.
Sheva's using her ammo. Oh god. Oh. Okay, I gotta remember how to dodge. Wrong one. Sheva, use the turret. Get on that one.
Something that undergoes such a rapid transformation must have a weakness.
Yeah, it's whatever orange balls are on it. Oh, that's a, oh, the machine. I see. Sheva, you get on that. You have less ammo. Just kidding. She got off. Yippee! It's 2 rocket launchers and 2 machine guns. Okay. Whoa! I believe in you, Sheva. Aiming with this was awful. Hi, Fire. How you doing? Oh, good heavens. Oh, good heavens. Woo. Okay. He's on a boat, turns into a hentai shark. Yeah, he turns into a weird fucking looking little goober. Oh, hi, don't get closer. Oh, please, no, thank you. It's distracted because I'm looking at D&D. Why can't I say things properly? D&D. What type of dice you looking for? Or like what? I love my dice. That's why I'm like, what dice you looking at? What colors? Metal? Acrylic? Filled? I shouldn't say. Filled with glitter? I have glitter one. Ew. I'm not on the machine gun.
The dice that quite me.
Yeah. Staring, wanting to munch.
Look at that.
Ooh, metal. Okay. You know, that's my bad. I was looking at chat, okay. Got excited about metal dice. Instead, I got chomped. Oh, V! Oh no, I don't know where V is. Oh. Oh, good heavens, that actually scared me. Yeah, reload, Sheva. Oh, I dodged it that time. I didn't dodge it that time. I pressed all the wrong buttons. I'm in front of the machine gun. Oh. I pressed it. Did I look down? Hey, Sheva, get off of this, Sheva! Sheva, I'm stuck! Sheva's got me stuck. Currently looking at a set of... Ooh, red-eyed dragon. That sounds really cool. Ooh. Yeah, gimme! Wahoo! Okay. Is there in the zoo animal boss? Yeah. Yeah, I love Resident Evil bosses. I hate this man though. He looks so gross.
Tell me what you're planning to do.
Damn, Excella! I guess I wasn't worth the good stuff.
Excella.
Where is this facility?
He didn't get the good stuff.
Answer me. What is the Ouroboros project?
Boss.
Wow, you two are just on top of everything, aren't you? The balance of the world is changing and you're completely oblivious to it.
No, Erwin, actually, you are.
What are you talking about? Is it the Ouroboros project? Is that
Ouroboros. Ouroboros.
No one can stop it. Ouroboros is about to change everything we've ever come to know.
I forgot what the actual word sounded like.
Chris. See, you're Chris.
How do you know about me?
Oh, your answer's a way to head, Chris. In that cave. If you can survive long enough to get them.
Don't worry, we gotta beat this game, Irving. We will.
Italian's not so bad, but it's not gonna change anything. You're still screwed.
We're wasting time here.
Chris.
Yeah, don't waste your bullets, Mr. Redfield. He's bubbling, anyways.
Poor bastard.
Now
She
what?
refused to use the turrets until I told her
Keep
to.
going.
QT, Sheva's like AI system is very special. But that goes for the same thing if you play Sheva and you let Chris be the computer. It's very special. I hate them. I hate it so much. That's why I hate 6 if you don't play with somebody. Oh, when did I get this in my pocket? Remove. Wow. Actually, for once, I love Sheva having the healing because I keep on getting fucked up and then I don't heal myself. And then she's like, here, I got you.
Oh, damn.
I know we're coming up to a part that I don't. Oh my god, wait. I remember the hack. Oh, I don't have capacity anymore. Whenever you upgrade a gun with its capacity, it automatically reloads the gun for you, so you get a full magazine in it. And I remember doing that so much. It was like, Nikki, I need more ammo. We just upgrade our weapons. I don't think this is a good one though. I don't think I have a lot of money though. Oh, I can either buy a gun for Sheva or buy a gun for me. Ooh. I should probably buy the Hydra. Not that one. Hydra's so expensive. Let me move. Oh, you're on 3. How far are you in 3, Kev? How has 3 been treating you? Forgot you finished up 2. I was like, Nemesis? What are you talking about? I see. Yeah, let's buy that. Well, it's good for the economy. I kind of want to use it. So I think I might take it. Remove that. And we'll have that as a safekeeping. Should I bring egg? No. No egg.
Egg.
Egg. I don't think I can really upgrade anything. Oh, I can upgrade that. This is fully upgraded. Yeah. That'll be 5,000 after that. Okay. Good. Got to the train. Working again, and now I'm being bait. Doesn't let me move. Oh no. Good luck. It's okay. It's not too long of a game. Okay. You only gotta deal with Nemesis the entire fucking game.
I am now also looking at dice.
Hell yeah, metal dice are so cool. I should bring out my metal. But it was denting my desk.
I'm looking at dice with inclusions on it.
Oh.
There's this really cool set. Can I send you the link to the set? I think you'll like it.
Yes.
They're really freaky.
Freaky.
And I'm tempted to get them. Mm-hmm.
Treat yourself. I need to shake my dice.
You two are really going to go through with this?
Yes.
All the glitter was
This is
stuck
not
at the
just
bottom.
about Jill,
I
but
love
the
these
Ouroboros
dice.
project as well.
I guess there's nothing I
Boris.
can do to stop you. I will call
Walking
HQ
around.
and try to get the withdrawal order
Chris's
rescinded.
minigun and just
We'll also
melting
try to get
enemies.
you
That's so real.
Try not to get yourselves killed.
It's V. V.
What up, gamers? How's it hanging? I returned from the dead.
I know you were dead. You've been so busy and you died. That's crazy. Welcome, V. I miss you. Yeah. Oh, bye, Josh. He's also leaving. Goodbye, sir. Thanks for dropping us off in this cave. Literally dropped us in a cave.
Said, Excella.
You heard it before?
That's the name of the director of Tricell's African division.
Do you think she could be connected to Irving?
It's possible, but I don't have any proof.
Tricell.
I want
There
this
is a
Sheva, sorry.
connection. What does that mean for Africa?
Not sure, but if we keep going, we're bound to find out.
True.
This is the
Let's
part that
move.
Nikki hated. To me, I love her with her accent. True. I would just want to hear Sheva talk to me. I love her. Hopefully school's been treating you well, me. Ah, yes. Spiders. I love the way these little goobers die, though. It's so funny. Oh. Is there one over here? Okay. What ammo did he drop? Incendiary grenade. There we go. At least Nikki is... Oh. Not here today.
Take it.
Okay.
He didn't drop anything over there. Okay, time to go up. He dropped ammo. I had so much ammo at the start.
Come on.
Okay.
Over here. Take that.
Okay.
That's yours.
I believe in you.
Oh. How do I not have Spasamante in my pockets? Damn. Hit. Ritai. Escape. Debe cafe. She like you, man. Oh my god. Why is there so many of them? I just came over here in a mass lump. Okay. Jeez, why is there so many of them?
Take it.
Pick that up, that's yours. Shiny. Yes, I just broke that skull and stole its jewel.
Sheva.
Oh, actually, I was gonna look at my pocket Sheva, but that's okay. We'll go into this cutscene. My tummy said I had too much sugar. And I continued to drink my coffee. My coffee's now done. No, not your tummy. Yeah, I had a cup of coffee, 2 cups of
Have
coffee.
you considered more coffee?
never knew
I
such
have,
things
but I think the
existed.
coffee is over, so I have considered GG
Looks like
subs
there's
now.
been some recent activity.
The secondary option.
I hope Irving was telling the truth when he said we have answers in this place.
Oh, I was gonna look at my pockets. Why are they so full? Oh.
Pocket.
Oh. Well, that's why they're full. They're just full. My pockets are full. For a man who has this many pockets on him, they're full up already. Which section is this? Is this the laser beam? Yes. Oh, how fun this will be. I hope Sheva doesn't die. Ew.
This will be...
Let's kill a spider on the wall. Don't you dare pick it up, Sheva.
Ew. Sheva, don't eat the spider. That's bad for your health.
Yeah. Oh, Sheva, you have... Exchange.
I need ammo.
Take this.
Okay. Well, now Sheva has all that. Yeah.
Thanks.
I need
Now
ammo.
give me that. Okay, thank you. Ah, we have a system now, and now I have one free pocket. Ooh, it's a big sword. It's not too much sugar. You should get a side. I love bread. I love bread. Bread?
See, you need a hand.
I love
Bread.
money. Pick it up, Sheva. Sheva, pick it up. Okay, more money for me then.
Money.
Money. I've stolen it all. I am now the Tomb Raider. I am now the Tomb Raider. Sheva! Sheva! I need to open boxes, and Sheva walked into a cutscene. No, she sprinted into that cutscene. Well, bye, Sheva. Don't die, Sheva. I won't lie, Chris Redfield can make it across that.
Chris, are you okay?
No. Bye. I can make it.
I'll provide cover.
I believe in you.
Yeah!
You can do it.
Oh my god. They just do the back bend sometimes. I'm like, oh, why you gotta... Why are you stretching like that? Oh, please don't. I want to hit his little implosion. Ooh, ammo. Ooh, ammo. I reload that. Ooh. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. I need to find more emblems. Oh, well, that...
Don't die. That's not good for your health.
Hey, something was behind me, actually. Hey, oh, okay. He wouldn't die. Oh, hey, ammo. Oh, no. Use that, Mr. Redfield. Good enough. I should really be saving up health items again. Oh, well, that's lovely. But no.
Who needs to save up health items?
Exactly. Wow. This is such a cool shotgun. Oh! I was middle reloading.
Damn.
That.
They got your ass.
They did. Whoa!
Yeah.
Well, that was really rude.
Fucked up an evil attack.
Oh my god, his body was blocking all the shots. Are you gonna die, sir? Hey, Sheva, so I got fucked up. It was so fucked up and evil of them. So fucked up and evil. What did it? I say that right as you said it? Say that right as you said. What did she give me? Sheva, did you not pick up any of this?
Come on,
Roger.
take it.
Roger.
Weird. Second round. 7 green herbs. I end up with a lot of green herbs sometimes.
Sheva.
Roger.
Money, Sheva, money! And a jewel. I have so much extra healing items in this game from other runs. So I've just been using that. But I should kind of save some. And I'll be fine. It'll be I'm stuck. Door stuck. It'll be fine. Blue? Damn, crazy.
Take it.
Roger.
Who has the red herb? change.
Give me an herb.
Take this.
Give me that. Oh. She gave me back the ammo. How nice of her. Okay. That. Okay. Okay. Ooh. A piece of candy. This kind of seems bad. Okay. Oh! I almost died. I forgot about this. At least I took Sheva with me. What are you jumping over, my dude? Bonk. I punched his head off. I punched his head clean off. Hey, Sheva, how you doing over there? You don't touch me. Oh, he's dead? Oh. Oh, he's not dead. Get him, Sheva! No, Sheva, why are you running back at me? Oh, he's dead now. Okay. Well.
Well.
V. Holy shit, Sheva. So a lot of them suddenly emerged. She just walked. Oh my god, Sheva! I just realized how large that man was.
You know what else as well?
It was the. Oh, shit. Fuck, shit. Run, Sheva. Hopefully that doesn't hurt you. Sheva, don't run towards the explosion. Oh, she ran straight towards my grenade. Ah! Okay, anyways, I reacted calmly to this situation. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sheva, pick up the other ammo. You literally have that. She has that gun, right? Yeah, she literally has no.
You grab it.
Roger.
What a weird little gal. Doesn't pick up the ammo she needs. Yeah, see? And then you reloaded it, ma'am, and now you have ammo. Oh my god, my lungs. Why is it benched? Oh! Oh my god, it's the ball! It is the ball section. Ball. Oh. 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 Oh! Which button do I have it on? Okay. I never use the explosions. Okay, so what do we have, Sheva? We need all that, but we should be safe that. We should be safe that? Okay, we pick it all up before we start this, Sheva. Sheva, go pick up this one.
Come on!
Roger.
Pick it up, Sheva.
Roger.
Wasn't Discord General the dice about? Fuck yeah! I don't know if it activates automatically. I'm quite scared. Oh, I don't know. Oh, Sheva, get your ass up here. Oh, I need that one, Sheva. Oh, this is about to be the time of your life. We about to experience ball. Ball. The ball. The balls are gonna break this, but... Oh, the balls are here! And they're on fire! Run, Sheva, run! No!
Why are they on fire? That's not good for them.
It really ain't. Oh, they broke all the boxes. Thank you.
No.
Okay, Sheva, so... Oh my god, they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. Such a cool upgrade system for guns. Upgrade the... Okay, maybe I should lock in. So isn't that close? Oh! Yeah, Sheva! Yeah, Sheva, I know! There's just some balls! Oh, Sheva. Oh, Sheva, I'm cooked. Okay, Sheva. Sheva, we gotta do it again, but I've gotten a lot of the ammo. And you know, That's what really matters in the apple of my eye. I have 90 bullets again. Okay. She didn't even leave. She didn't even leave this section. You upgrade. Max Chris's minigun. Ooh. See, I need to start upgrading all of the weapons. I never finished upgrading them all. Okay, come on, Sheva. Now we actually go. Excuse me, balls. Excuse me. Oh, she waits for me. Oh, I guess I could have just, you know, waited for all that.
I didn't know you could move so fast.
Sheva, that was the slowest I've ever moved.
You grab it.
Oh my god, the unnecessary jump is coming up. Holy shit, I forgot about that. I worked so hard to just collect everything while the balls were moving. The balls aren't as scary.
So curious.
It's so funny. No, it is coming up because it's in this, I don't think it's soon, but it is in this underground part. I think it's at the end of the underground part, if I remember correctly. I'm moving my little armrest. They make the loudest fucking noise ever. I'm gonna take a drink of water. This isn't a trap. Sheva, don't you dare walk forward.
But it's funny.
I think if I remember correctly, yeah, I'm like, this is a button mash part. It should be here. Yeah, it is here. This is gonna be the best jump ever. I almost missed that one. It should be the last section of this part. It's the double cameras. Because they start the jumping. God. It's the double camera of first camera angle. Go back, replay.
Beautiful.
Why did they cross streams? Too normal in here? Is a bit of paranormal? Fuck yeah, we love the paranormal here. We love it.
Streams? What are they?
Yeah. They cross their streams, bro. They're so gay. Honestly, Sheva is strong as hell, bro. I need to lift this table just a little bit. She is like, I don't know, she matches Chris's freak with his strength. Computer partner rant over? Computer partner? Oh, computer Chris and computer Sheva won't use this. Oh, I didn't even realize I was like computer side rant, but I see now. Because I was like, yeah, weapons? Yeah, okay. Yeah, the upgrades for that goes to that. Okay. I don't hate this part of the game, but like, this is gonna be one hell of a journey going through all this. Okay, so no boxes. No bitches?
No bitches.
No bitches. Oh my god, Chris actually sounds like he's out of breath. Sorry, Sheva. I'm just taking us on a mini little journey running around right now.
I mean, of course he's gonna be out of breath. He's got no bitches.
You're so right. No bitches. Is there a snake? Or you're just happy to see me? They're happy to see me. Sheva?
What about
Take it.
Roger.
A snake and you're happy to see me? Oh my god, I'm winning today. Oh, there it is. Whoa. I hate the, like... I don't hate the snakers in this because they're very smooth and nice. But, like, they just shoot. There's no recoil. There's nothing. You just shoot and it's like bang. I'm like, oh, wait. Can I jump down from here? No. Too tall. Too much for Mr. Redfield's knees. Man, look at his arms. Look at him and his little... Oh no, scorpion. 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 Scorpion.
Damn.
I hardly know her. This way. But a stream makes me wish I was on a boat. I know. It sucks losing you to work, but I'm so proud of you for work. Because that's important. I hope work has been well. That's all I wish. Ooh. Oh.
Thanks.
You take that? I take this? I'm happy. And then I could give us both grenade launcher. Yeah, you needed the blooms.
Ooh.
The doubloons are needed in this economy.
Come on,
Roger, Roger, get the other one.
Yeah, Sheva, I was trying to get you to go there. You just weren't doing it. Get the other one. Uno momento, por favor. I will find my way over there. Doubloons. Why, yes. I should change my paw points to doubloons. I won't, because they're my paw points. Hydrate. I will say, my... Oh, the fuck you mean? Nuh-uh. Hydrate right meow.
No. No.
Nuh-uh. The fuck you mean? Nuh-uh.
No.
Nuh-uh.
No.
The void I go hee 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 hee.
Have I quiet? Love you quiet.
I just choked on my water.
No.
That's why I shouldn't hydrate.
Nothing is stronger than love, except M36 rotary grenade launcher. Because fuck you and everything around you.
Yep. Uh-huh. I concur. Ooh, shiny. Sheva. Sheva, move your...
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Damn. You said nuh-uh, and Quiet said have more hydrate.
Damn.
Delicious and tasty. Up we go, Sheva. To the next one. The fuck you mean, nuh-uh?
Come on!
Okay.
Sheva.
No.
Sheva? That's what Sheva's telling me sometimes. Just, nuh-uh. It's like that. Pull the lever. Damn. Dong, dong. Yippee, yippee, wahoo, wahoo.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Oh, shiny. Yeah, now go be free. Thank you for the hydrates. Artifact. Artifact. Sheva, why can't we just jump straight down?
That is such a suspicious looking artifact.
Yeah. Hello? I'm gonna jump down. Oh, fine, I'll go the right way. Where are these little goobers? I heard them. Oh, needed a cutscene. So funky, it's fun. For a revolver, because it is. You gotta wind it up like a clock. I love the grenade launcher. Oh, there we go. Whoa. Oh, I hit right above his head. You can do it, Sheva. There's somebody over there, I think. What's wrong with him? Was he in pain? Oh yeah, he was just in pain. Sheva. Somebody just gargled at us. Oh, down there. Oh, I see. Says the blind man. Sheva, there's a lot of noises happening around us, actually, and I don't... Oh, that's why. He's kind of stuck. I helped him out. Where's he going? I either completely miss my shots or I hit them straight in the face. Jesus Christ. It's fucking Jason Bourne! Whoa! Oh, I got... Bonk. Stomp. Is he dead? I'm gonna shoot you in your toes, shoot you in your toes.
You gotta be off for us.
There's a little bug in my womb. Are you large? Sit down. What? Sheva, you won't pick up ammo normally, but in the middle of a fight you pick up ammo. Oh hey, Sheva, there's a man aiming a grenade at us. Oh! Okay. There we go. Thank you! Oh, he's stuck! That's who's making all the noise. Oh, he slid down. He didn't even drop us anything. Funny thing I found out about ME3? Oh, yes! Give us funny thing. We demand funny thing. Yippee! Yippee! Old strategy guidebook? Yippee! Yippee! Yes. I have one for Fallout.
I have a bunch for Pokemon.
That's so real. I needed those as a kid. Ooh. Panther. Oh, it's loaded already. Locked and loaded. Yippee!
Sheva.
Roger, there's only one chain. The other one must be somewhere else.
I'll go get it, Sheva. You stay there, Sheva. Okay, no more trinkets. Can I go that way? Damn. Strategy guidebook for ME3. It straight up just said, for insanity difficulty, we recommend you do not remove Garrus from your party. That's crazy. It said, hey, so just keep this little guy here with you at all times. Hey, Sheva, I'm in danger. Let's pull this lever.
I need your help!
Sheva!
Thanks, partner.
Shoot the damn spider, girl, before it attacks you. Whoa! Pull it, Sheva. Get in the cutscene. Is she okay? Okay, she's okay. This moment, because she just she just sat with a spider on her back, which is fair. It was hugging her, but like, girly, she better pick up that jewel. Let's see if she picks up the jewel. Oh, I'm on. Hello? Oh my god, hello. Oh no, oh no. We'll shoot you in the fucking kneecaps. Oh, now you get here, Sheva.
You grab it.
Okay.
You pick that up. Okay. Sit down. Do we have anything over here, Sheva? Can I break these? No. It's so sad. losers. I set them on fire. Orson! Actually, I'm not gonna use that. Stomp! Stomp! Hey! Oh, okay. She took the ammo I wanted from the floor and then gave it to me immediately. Thank you, Sheva. Thank you a lot. Wow. What do we have over here, Sheva? Anything? Nope. To the last section, Sheva. Okay, Sheva. Oh, I went the wrong way, Sheva. You know, I don't think she picked up the jewel from up there. I don't think she did. It's quite sad. I wish I could switch my weapons. Oh. Yippee! We can go all the way up now! Nothing bad will happen now, right? Yippee. Right. It's that fucking dumbass bitch again. Larry. Don't mess with my squad, or you'll be messing with Oopie Goopy, General Munchkin, or worst of all, Larry. Oh my god, okay, sir, you're a little too close for comfort. Okay. Oh! I don't know why. Hello, sir. Oh, that okay. We're playing like that. Oh, okay, we're playing like that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I moved. You let me move. Oh, okay. Hey, Sheva. Yeah, thanks, Sheva. I unloaded all of the grenade launcher on this fucking boss. The little mini boss. He stuck me in a corner. He put baby in a corner, bro. How
That's so fucked up.
and evil. So fucked up and evil of him, dude. I was so mean, and then he hit me, and then he hit me, but then I saw Sheva took out the healing. I was like, oh, thank you, Sheva, actually. I actually needed you to do that in that moment, so thank you. Oh, this is so fucked up and evil. I'm so excited for this. We're getting closer to where I want to be.
The preparations are almost
Women.
complete. Then we can leave.
Oh, women.
Women. Women. Man.
Women.
Women. Man. Needle.
Men.
Needle.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Needle not
surprised
like.
Las Plagas was such a success. When you first arrived, I had my doubts.
She's such
And
a
now
bitchy bitch.
Ouroboros is complete.
Your position at Tricell is secure.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, I have my eyes set on something much bigger.
Women.
You'll be needing a partner, right?
Women.
Someone suitable to join you in your new world. I believe I've proven I'm worthy.
She wants to hit that. So desperately.
Perhaps you have.
But also he's a bitch. Buzzsaw. Thank you. Plague man.
It appears your old friend, Chris Redfield, has come to pay you a visit.
I love Mr. Whiskers.
Concern?
The plan is in its final stages. I will not tolerate delay.
I feel like he needs chapstick though. Won't lie.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know.
More like to go in the sun.
That's fair. I don't know. I think he also needs a shower. I don't know if he's dirty or tan.
Yeah.
His skin is not skin color.
Creating a new
Oh God.
Yeah, Spencer was an arrogant bitch. Spencer's finally dead. Woo!
I believe I should thank you, Spencer.
Yummy, yummy. Because that bitch started this all, really. Ooh, a Boris racket. So why would you think he'd do that? Do it again? Yeah. Okay. Wait. Yeah. Wesker already lowered his standard to have sex with one woman. It's like the same shit of Devil May Cry with Virgil. One woman had one kid, and Virgil just fucking forgets about that kid, and it's just like, oh, it's my kid. Oopsie. Never do that again.
Oh damn. Ew.
Remove. What button to push? Do I have? Oh, organize. No, C. No, C. No, V. Okay. I didn't know what buttons to press.
I see.
I see, says the blind man. Can I buy this? Okay, I could buy this gun. Finally. But I would have no money to upgrade. I have a lot of ammo in my pistol. I'm just gonna keep it. It's doing me a good job right now. Remove. Remove. Why does she have a mine? Remove.
Why not?
You're right.
It's her friend.
You're right. You're right. Sheva. Chris. Yeah. Egg. Egg. Currently alive? Yeah, he's been alive for a while. I can't wait till you can get to Jack and Sherry. I love them so much. I love them so much. What is this one? Is this one 50, 60? What's this at? 60, 70? Okay, that one's a little better. Do I have money? I do have money. Okay, we're gonna upgrade. Upgrade. Let's do that. How much that one? I don't really care. It's not full. There we go. Okay. I wish I could upgrade this. Let me upgrade this. Is this fully? Yeah. Okay, so if I wait, this one? Okay, so that's fully upgraded now. Let me go take a little. This is what I have, right? Riff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have this. I have Riff. Organize. This fully upgraded. I want a new pistol. 26 during Resident Evil 5? Crazy. I was doing math in my head.
Yeah.
Crazy? I was crazy once.
I was crazy once.
Locked me in a
locked me in a room.
A wubble womb.
A rubber womb. A rubber womb with what?
I loved hearing the slow progression of saying it normally to, wait, princess. A wubble womb.
Princess.
A wubble. Wesker, a deadbeat father? Yes, he is. Why, yes. For state spray, princess. We can just buy some, princess. Melee vest. Bulletproof vest. Okay, princess. I'm gonna go piss squirrel. So I'll be right back. Oh, my shoulders.
Of course, princess.
I'll get you Nessie, princess. Let me
Oh,
run.
thank you, princess. Thank you, Busty.
Okay, princess. I'll be right back.
Bye-bye, princess. I have been abandoned, princess.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
hydrate? No. You can't tell me what to do. No. No, quiet. No. Yeah. Yeah, but for why? I don't need to hydrate.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Damn. Damn. Can't believe this. Can't believe this. Can't believe I'm being bullied. This is so fucked up and evil. You take care, dog. You be careful. Apple paw. Hello.
Wow. Oh no, I see the hydrant.
I was being bullied. It was very fucked up. Very evil.
Very evil, if I say so myself.
Yeah.
Desk too tall now. Why am I cold? Am I happy with this loadout? Sure. No, we won't. We won't. No, I would never.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Oh yeah, I guess I should hydrate.
Mr. Quiet Hydrate Gamer. That's your name now. That's your legal name.
Lesbian lumberjack. Is that what you're calling me? Lesbian lumberjack? It's my fucking shirt.
Yeah.
I gotta have like the... Oh my god, we haven't done the laser beam part. The like... I'm thinking of like the 70s. Like the super 70s, 90s. I can't think. 90s. No? I don't know. Tight shorts. Disappears the void. Hey, you get your ass back in here. And you hydrate us.
Don't actually quiet, it's okay.
You gotta.
Not me. You get your butt right back in here. Oh, that's a laser beam. Oh. Well, we're not walking that way right now, Sheva.
Impressive. They appear to be focusing sunlight into a laser-like beam.
Yeah, Sheva, it's quite horrifying. Sheva, get in here. I hate this part of the game so much. Sheva might get hit. No, she didn't. I guess we could have just...
Good.
Checkpoint! I really wanted to punch him. I don't want to punch him anymore. Where'd Sheva go? Sheva, why were you standing out there?
Oh, for funsies.
No, I want to punch him. Thanks, Sheva. Oh, thanks, Sheva.
You grab it.
Okay.
Damn, I lose my health so much. That's literally just a me thing. Shoot him in the ankles.
Grab his dick and twist.
Grab his dick and twist it! Is there anybody else, Sheva? Grab his dick and twist it, Sheva! There's still music. Who's here? Who wants their dick twisted? Oh, behind us. Sorry, I shut him up. Whoa. Ouchie, Sheva. Ouchie.
Sheva, you know what you gotta do.
Grab his dick and twist it.
Go get him, Sheva. Do that one. Oh, you.
Okay, Sheva, let's pick up all the ammo. Let's pick up all the ammo. Yippee, yippee. Yippee, yay, woohoo, yay.
Woohoo. Not that one. Give.
I owe you one.
Yeah, Sheva. Yeah, sure. You just owe me all of my ammo. And my health, because how unfair that she didn't take any damage, but I took every single damage I needed to. Why did you eat it? Ooh. Oh.
I was hungry.
That's understandable. Wow. I love picking up items and getting a scary alert. Just wow.
Take it.
Roger.
Where's the laser beam? There it is. Actually, Sheva, back it up. Hold on. Is there a map here? Oh, yes. I guess we can go straight. I'm willing to. I'm quite scared, Sheva, I won't lie.
So you gotta go straight. You cannot go gay.
No, not allowed.
Not allowed.
Not allowed.
No.
Earth emblem. Do I need to go that way at all? I don't think so. Let's go right here, Sheva. Oh, Sheva, I hated this one. Sheva, they're aiming at us. Oh, I was trying to hit.
Sheva, they're being mean.
Yeah, they're being mean. Sheva, the game's mean. I can't move and aim. Oh no.
Sheva, they're being mean. Can you kill them?
Sheva, go kill them. Oh, Sheva. Sheva, I hit him and not his explosive, and I wanted to hit his explosive. Sheva, I ran out of ammo. Go find some. Sheva, help. Sheva.
No.
Sheva. Sheva, please.
Sheva.
It's just like in game.
Sheva,
come
you can do
on.
it.
Help. Sheva. Come on. Chris.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Roger.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I love spamming the voice in this game.
Sheva, I believe in you.
Sheva, I found ammo. Oh my god, Sheva. I have 5 bullets to my name. On my sniper rifle. Finally have a full magazine again. On my pistol. Oh no, they're back. Sheva, Sheva, they're back. Sheva. Sheva, I hear them. Sheva, they're coming.
No. Sheva.
See emblem.
You know what else is... I'm so sorry.
Sheva, where are they? Sheva, where's the big ones? There's the big one. How is that going past him? Go find ammo, Sheva. Sheva, help. Sheva, please. Sheva, shoot him in the leg. Sheva.
Sheva, grab his dick and twist it.
Sheva, grab his dick and twist it. He's down. I really want to punch him.
He's into it. It's okay.
Oh, I didn't want to pick up the ammo. Oh, that's a man, Sheva. Sheva, run, Sheva.
Ew.
That's what I'm saying. Bonk. Sheva, do I have a grenade? Sheva, please move. All I see is your butt. And though that was lovely, it's not what I want to see right now.
It's what I want to see.
Yeah, now it's acceptable. I killed the big guy. I got a blue heart! Where is this guy who's upset at us? Sheva, there's a man who's upset at us. Oh, I think he's down below in the waters. Oh, he is. Oh, he can't make the jump again. Oh, the little guy can't make the jump.
Oh,
he's somewhere there? Oh, he's right there. Oh, hey, you made it. Oh, did you make it up, little guy? Oh, he made it up. How nice of him. I have Sheva's model. She did put a lot of effort into sculpting her, but yeah, I won't lie. Like, Mr. Redfield, obviously, like, they put everything into his arms, but like, they really did her butt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have to run straight. Sheva, you were a little close to that laser. Sheva. Oh, I forgot about the second laser. Sorry, Sheva. I made fun of you and then I got hit by the laser.
Damn,
I forgot about the second laser. That's what I get. That's what I get for fucking making whatever. I forgot about the second one. Sheva? Okay. I was very concerned for her well-being. Oh. Sorry, Sheva. I'm sorry. Sorry, I will make fun of you. I will make fun of you. Hey, could you give me that?
Take this.
That was just quite funny. Examine the butt up close. Please, it's just so real. So real. Ah, so it appears to me. I think he's gonna get a laser beam though. I got laser beam. Ooh, shiny. Shiny. Anything that I... Does this go both ways? That's crazy. Okay. Sheva, hey, don't push me. Okay, let's go. Okay, Sheva. Sheva, is there a laser beam here? Okay. Got scared for my life. Got scared for my life. Let's get this box. Look at that ammo. I love Sheva. She's so cute. Oh, bye, Sheva. Bye. Have fun. Have fun, Sheva.
Sheva, don't die.
Oh my god, Sheva. Sheva, you healed without me, but you know, that's fair. You got hit by the laser beam. Got you, Sheva. I don't got you. Come on, Sheva, keep running. Yeah, Sheva, so you should get your ass over here.
Come on!
Okay.
Like, meow, yeah. That giant one was coming at- oh, he's coming after us. Okay, Sheva, we gotta wait. Thanks. We gotta wait one, Sheva.
Coming, Sheva.
Okay, run, Sheva. Come on, Sheva.
Come on!
It feels like you're talking to a dog.
It feels like it sometimes. He's not dead, Sheva. Sheva, I'm sorry if you get hit. Oh, he's after me? Oh my god. Checkpoint, yay! It's just me! Sheva, I left Sheva!
Yippee!
Sheva.
No.
Sheva's fucking dead. I reached the checkpoint, but Sheva's fucking dead.
No!
Sheva! Sheva, I got hit! Sheva! What are you still doing up there, Sheva? She's dying. I think she got stuck up there. Sheva! Because she wasn't moving from that spot. Oop. Let's go. Hey, guess what? We hacked the system because I got a checkpoint. So she's alive, the big guy's gone, and we're at this point. And we're not up where she was stuck. That was quite funny. I think she got stuck on something, I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it. Is there anything that was over here? Loot? Another walkway? Probably an emblem I can shoot? I think there's an angry man at us somewhere. Big diamond. That's what I got. Big diamond. I didn't make my GG subs. Oh well.
You gotta be a little silly.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to be a little silly. I'm sorry,
Oh no.
I can just push these spiders on the floor. Like, to kill them, I actually have to hit them. If not, I just push them on the floor. I didn't know that. Excuse me, pardon me, spider. Making my way through. This is gonna be an interesting one to do. Simply because I'm scared of getting, oh shit, my bitrate's dead.
Oh. Oh no. That's not good.
My bit rate bit my bit rate dying. Shall we? No.
Yeah, you sound a little silly.
Do I sound like a woman? Because I looked over and I'm like, oh, that's really delayed. It's still going. It's at 14,000 drop frames.
Oh lord.
It just happened though, so.
More than one.
Mm-hmm. More than one, indeed. At least all that I did was look at the spiders pushing. I feel like I might need to restart stream. We shall see. More than 2%.
Let me refresh the stream because it seems to be it's. Ooh. buffering quite a bit on my end.
Yeah, same.
So I don't know if that's my end or yours.
Even on my end, on my iPad, it's buffering a lot.
Okay.
I'm gonna let it sit for 1 moment as I make my GT subs anyways. I think it wouldn't hurt to restart.
No.
Because my bitrate still is not better. But I don't know if it's gonna be better.
Yeah, you could give it a second. Oh yeah, like I'm looking at the screen and it's... Oh, it's at least... Oh...
I didn't even get to hear you finish that sentence. I noticed it last night when I was playing games with friends. I don't know what's up.
It's at least 2 minutes delayed.
Yeah.
Because it's only just come up with the messages that you put in. I'm like, oh. It might be good to restart.
Yeah. Oh, the bitrate's fine though, so if I restart... Okay. We take that.
Okay.
Stream? Please. Refresh in moment. Oh, moment in moment. Moment. Bin. 20 minutes.